kids. It's time to get some SML podcast all up in that.
What's up, everyone? This is the SML podcast. I am your host, Joe. Joining as usual, Cole. How are you doing?
I guess I'm fine. I'm here.
You think you guess you're fine? You think?
Yes. I mean, I made it to another Thursday, so hooray!
Hip hop hooray! Hip hop hooray!
And it's not even Thursday when these fucking shows come out, and I'm always referencing Thursday.
Oh, man. But joining, as you could tell by the laughter, we are joined by a guest this week, Pete Paquette, animator. How are you doing today?
I am doing swell, thank you.
How
are you guys? You guys doing good?
Yeah, we're doing all right. I'm doing pretty good myself. Cole, how are you?
I mean, I didn't die this week, so, sometimes that's just the best I can ask for.
It's the little victories.
Yeah, it really is.
Exactly.
You take the W when you can.
I didn't die. I didn't go to jail for beating anybody with my cane.
Well, yeah, that's good too. Yeah.
That is high praise for me.
But Pete, you are an animator with a long history of film and video game work, and I just got to know, what brings you to our neck of the woods? What brings you to our little show?
I listened to your podcast because a good friend of mine, Patrick Hickey Jr., was on it. When was it? Maybe a week or two ago? Maybe 3?
I think 2 weeks, something like that.
I think it's been 2 weeks, yeah.
And I'm working with him on an indie game with my brother. I don't know, I like the vibe you guys have, And so you guys were mentioning in that podcast that you're always looking for guests. So I told Patrick, I said, hey, I'll do it. Nobody ever asked me to be on anything. So
this is going to open up so many doors for you. That's not true. But it sounded good. I couldn't even finish the lie. I'm sorry.
The future is bright. Unending potential from here.
The future is bright because you've made it that way. You have a really impressive resume.
Oh, thank you very much.
You want to tell us a little bit about what you've worked on?
Sure. Do you have about a half hour?
Yes, we have as much time as you need.
All right. So I've worked, just to generalize, I started my career years and years ago doing television work for little shows that never saw the light of day. They were going to be direct to VHS shows. And I did say VHS. That's
VHS.
I remember those.
That's where I started. Where I am now is I'm a contractor. I work for myself out of my house, and I work for clients like Blizzard and Gearbox and EA. And in between all that, I worked on tons of films, the multiple entries in the Ice Age series. Let's see, Horton Hears a Who. I worked, and then I went to VFX, did some live action stuff. I worked on the new Ghostbusters for a little bit, and then I worked on my crowning achievement, which is Mall Cop 2. You remember that trailer where he gets kicked by the horse? Everybody saw that. That was me.
Well, congratulations.
That was a very popular little trailer there that went around pretty heavy.
For all the wrong reasons.
As is everything that touches the internet, really.
Yeah. But I've been doing it since, let's see, my very first paying gig was 2001, 2000, something like that. It's been a while. So
you've been animating for a good while.
Yeah, it's been a really cool ride, though. Been through lots of cool experience, met lots of cool people, worked with some of the most incredibly talented people that to grace this planet. and I consider myself really lucky, you know.
Who are some cool people that you've worked with? This is your chance to name drop.
Oh, okay. Well, most of the when I say the people that I worked with, it's people that within the industry, like other animators. I don't necessarily mean celebrities, because we don't get to work with them one-on-one very often. A lot of it's done through video reference. So they'll record for instance, like when on Horton Hears a Who, they would record the audio shoots, and then we would use that for reference. There was, well, I probably shouldn't talk about that, but I got to be careful because, you know, the agents are listening all the time. So
that's okay. No one listens to this.
Remember when we had Steven Spahn of Able Gamers on, and he was like, they send little gold robots to watch you.
Yeah.
And they're just like always in the bushes, hanging outside your window, just waiting for you to fuck up an NDA.
Yeah. That's, I haven't run into that ever. But I also don't, like, professionally, I don't really talk about much that hasn't been disclosed outside of 38 Studios because they owe me a lot of money. So,
see, that's the thing. You just never fucked up enough to have to see the gold robots. They're there.
Yeah,
you just haven't got their attention.
Either that or I become irrelevant. So
I don't think that's the case. Like I said, we've seen your resume. We know irrelevant is not on there.
No,
I mean, Mall Cop 2, it was already brought up.
Right.
Yeah, right. I mean, you can't get much better than that.
I don't know. At least you got paid for your crowning glory as far as art goes. Mine is the.
Well, you know, never give up. It's because I'm telling you.
Joe's laughing because he knows what my crowning glory of art is.
Oh, okay.
Everybody that listens to this show.
Is this something that should be discussed, or is it like, you know?
It's funny because I draw penises wearing costumes.
Really?
Yeah. I've been working on a coloring book for a year.
Oh, a coloring book? That would sell like mad, I think.
That's like, what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
She just has to finish the damn thing.
It's you know, drawing 30 dicks wearing costumes was the easy part. But I got the bright idea, like, oh, let's have all of this. Let's have activities, and let's have like crossword puzzles and shit because I'm dumb. And so here we are, and I'm like 10 months later, like I'm just trying to get done by Cocktober.
Cocktober, hell yeah.
Let me ask you, what was the catalyst of this? Like, what was it that inspired you?
A friend of mine had sent me a link to a chick who actually, her website's gone now. It's the sad part. But she took photos of penises dressed up like dictators. Oh,
and that's what you got.
And so it went from there. Right. Then another mutual friend had these like purple stunner shades that flashed around the edges. And I drew a coloring page for a third mutual friend as a joke. That was a dick wearing a leather jacket and those purple stunner shades.
So I have so many questions.
You and everybody else that gets to hear the dick story.
So what are the rules for the clothing? Like, is it, do they have pants? Do they have hats? Because I imagine if they have too much clothing, you wouldn't really be able to tell.
There's typically not pants, or if there are, though, sometimes you can like draw an outfit and give the indication that like maybe it's just one piece of fabric wrapped around and like the costume is printed on the fabric, if you will. But they can totally have hats. Like the firefighter has a hat. There is one, the one that I usually draw them traditionally and ink them, scan them in, and then I'll do a digital inking for the book.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that I inked most recently was wearing a hoodie that, with the hood up, looked like a chicken costume.
Oh, Jesus.
So I mean, there is the potential for hoodies and stuff like that.
So, like, what perspective do you draw them from?
All kinds of different ones.
Oh, really? So
yeah.
It all depends on the outfit, or?
Yeah, whatever one will work with how I need to make the outfit look.
Yeah.
Cole, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
First, Ford Racing drops more biddies, so dropping bits.
Dropping bits!
Thank you, Norg. My question is, do you have a cop yet?
Do I have a cop? I don't.
Do you remember Reno 911?
Yes.
Lieutenant Dangle.
Oh my God.
I'm thinking.
I'm trying to avoid like copyright infringement. That's why I had to go through and replace a few, because I had like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle dicks.
I'm thinking just like tight shorts with like nuts just popping out of the legs, just squeezing out. Tight shorts.
Yeah, I could.
That might require some finagling, but I think I can do it.
There you go. There's someone with pants.
Here's the terrible part. Like,
just nut popping out the side.
My husband knows I've worked on this project, and like I'm still terrified that something's going to happen to me before I'm done with it, and then he's going to have to go to my browser history.
So you
got to have reference photos.
Can you do one? Are there props allowed?
Yeah. The firefighter has a hose that wraps up behind him and is squirting water in a circle around it.
Okay.
Water.
What up?
Depends on how you color it, I guess, huh?
Can you do like a guy, like a yacht captain behind the wheel of a ship and the hair is blowing?
Ooh.
That would be pretty gross.
That would, but it'd also be pretty fantastic.
Just blowing in the breeze.
Yeah.
I usually do the balls shaved, so that would be a nice different one too.
Oh my God. You're killing me over here.
Well, we got comfortable real quick. Yep.
I am good at that.
So yeah, back to Horton Hears a Who.
Yeah, back to the children's movies.
See, the terrible part is that's how I got my start, was drawing kids' movies.
Well, yeah, you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, when I was a kid, my sister would sit me down with Beatrix Potter books, and she'd tell me not to move until I could draw Jemima Puddle Duck.
Ah.
Boy, did that escalate quickly.
Yeah, it happened over the course of a few days, I guess, right? She comes back, oh my God!
What have
my sister's a horrible prude, too. Like, she'll ask me what I'm doing, and I'm like working on my coloring book, and she'll just be like, oh, not that again. She's such a prude. It's very, very different between me and her as far as our feelings of dicks go.
Oh man, speaking of dicks, I have no clue how to segue into any kind of discussion now.
Yeah, it's kind of like we peaked or something, you know.
We blew it too early.
Blew our load too early.
Show's over, guys. Go home.
Oh man, it's been great having you on the show.
No, I have a pretty foul sense of humor. So I was a former Marine, so I have a potty mouth too, and very sick sense of humor, very dark, very pungent sense of humor, I guess.
Did you ever animate any characters from movies? You don't have to name them, obviously. Have you ever animated them doing horrible things?
I animated video games. Characters doing horrible things, yeah. You know that
Rule 34.
Do you remember the scene in the Bioshock Infinite DLC where she's getting a lobotomy?
Oh yeah,
orbital lobotomy. I did that entire scene.
Oh wow!
And that was from shot to animation itself. So it was all, the concepts were all storyboarded by me and then animated by me. So, but the the ideas and the story and everything came from on high. So,
damn, that's pretty crazy.
Pretty gross stuff. Like, if you remember, he's like tapping the thing into her eye, and it was pretty intense.
Yeah, that's a stomach churner.
Is that one of those where, like, you have to clear your browser history because you went looking for reference photos?
No, I never really dove into it as far as reference photos goes, because I generally don't want to be that disturbed. So,
too late for me.
Like,
oh God,
I enjoy creating and stuff like that, but those were hard. That was probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to animate, like that, and like actually a lot of things on Bioshock Infinite were difficult on me emotionally because they were so brutal. There was another scene where Booker DeWitt rips like this suction cup needle out of her back, and she was like writhing in pain, and I did that one too. And it just, man, those were tough. I'm used to like, before that I was animating on this whimsical MMO game, and then before that I was animating on Ice Age, and so that was a huge turn from one extreme to the next, actually. So, but it was cool to work on. It was a great experience. It was a cool game to be a part of, for sure.
Damn,
do you have a preference between doing like the more general audience friendly stuff or the more hardcore?
I'm kind of right in the middle. I'm kind of right in the middle, actually, because I don't like things that are kind of just fluffy and airy. If that makes sense. I like things with substance, but there is a point to where it gets it can get to be a little much. Just like dealing with it on a day-to-day basis, or like, hearing the sounds and like trying to like think of the pain, because when you're an animator, you're actually acting. Yeah. But you're kind of like, you're projecting that acting through a digital puppet. So it's it can be exhausting, those harder ones. But I do, if I had a preference, it would be kind of like adult drama type acting. If I had a choice.
Any kind of example of what you mean?
Kind of like like the like, if you think of your traditional, like, one extreme is like Kirby, right? That's one extreme. Where you're starting to get to the realm that I like to act in is The Incredibles. It's stylized realism, but it's very natural looking, if that makes sense.
No.
So that's kind of my wheelhouse. I do a lot of that kind of stuff for Overwatch now. So it's really a lot of fun. I mean, I get to do what I love every day. It's fantastic.
What have you worked on with Overwatch?
I work strictly on emotes. So a lot of the emotes I've done I've done a lot of dances. My most recent dance was the Wrecking Ball break dance, and then I did Ash's dance, and then Moira's dance, and Doomfist's dance, and did a bunch of dances.
Do you have a favorite dance?
My favorite one would be Wrecking Balls, because that was kind of that was my baby. That was probably the most fun I've had animating in years. So,
how long does it generally take to animate an emote like that?
It depends. Depends on the complexity. One thing about video games, you as you probably know just through playing and over the years of seeing the quality get better and better. Back in the day, you'd see polygons intersecting all the time. And when you're animating and you, like, say, pick up something, you're actually giving the illusion that it's solid. Because if you just kept closing those fingers around whatever it is you're holding, it'll smush right through it. So everything is a trick of the eye, and it gets kind of to the point of where you have to like really pay attention, even all the way down to like the fingertips and stuff like that, just to make sure there's no crazy penetrations through the geometry, and it's a lot of fun. It can be tedious, but I can't complain.
We were talking about Wrecking Ball just a little bit ago. Carnage says came in like a wrecking ball as he just subbed to us. So Carnage, thank you for the sub. Got to give him a quick shout out. So thank you there. Given that you've worked on both games and movies, what do you prefer working on? Or do they each have their own ups and downs?
It's definitely kind of like apples and oranges. Same sort of sweetness, but two totally different things. Film is very demanding. You work very, very, very long hours. I remember we used to have to do 12-hour days, and during those 12-hour days, we'd do that like 6 days a week at one point. At least at one point during the production. And I remember my kids were just born. They were newborns. This was back when I was working on Horton. And I remember coming in, I would go in at 5 a.m. so I could leave at 5 p.m. so I could see the kids before they went to bed. And I would come in at 5 a.m. and there would be people sleeping in the studio because they never went home.
Man.
Wow.
So it's and you know what? They are the most dedicated people I think I've ever met in my entire fucking life. Like, some of the animators are very, very dedicated to their craft. So games, on the other hand, you have somewhat of a higher quality of life. However, there are times where, let's say you want to get that extra polish or flourish into your animation, you just don't have that time. Where film is the other way around. You kind of have, there are deadlines, but they are usually not too crazy. It depends on the production, really. So to answer your question, me working for myself instead of working for another company, those have been the best years, I would say. I've been very busy, but I get to work from my desk at my house every day.
Does that allow you to just freelance with anybody that you want?
Pretty much. When I was, let's see, because if you're a staff employee at companies, there's usually non-compete clauses that you have, or some sort of clause where you know, even to the extent of like, if you work on anything on the side and you don't let us know, that is now ours, you know, and I've heard of that happening in the past. So,
yeah, non-compete clauses on artists are scary.
Yeah, and I think in a lot of cases, my personal opinion is that I don't see how they can be legally upheld, because if you need to make a living,
yeah,
it's kind of a shitty thing. But who knows? I've never been in that situation. God forbid I ever am. But yeah, things are going great for me right now. I've been freelancing for, I want to say, like 4 or 5 years for different companies. I mean, that's been fantastic. I work my own hours. As long as I get the work done, I can take time off for, like, say my kids have like a band concert or something. I can go do that at any time and come back, and just, the toughest part about it is probably just the time management of it all. Mm-hmm. Or the fear of the quote unquote dry spell where you won't get any, yeah, or the dry spell of actually not having any work.
Not having any orders come in too.
Yeah, so I've always kind of kept myself in a place where I had a safety net. So since I've left film, I've actually always had something in my back pocket going on. When I was working for bigger companies like 38 Studios and Irrational Games, I actually was working on the side on film projects, and they're not competing with film, so they couldn't say anything.
Yeah.
I let them know, that I was doing it, and they okayed it because there was no conflict of interest. But it's interesting being on one side, on the other side of it now, where before it's like if I was working for, say, Irrational Games right now, I wouldn't be able to talk to you. But because I'm working for myself, I can talk to you guys pretty freely. Obviously, I can't tell you.
Beware the robots.
Yeah, I can't tell you, things that I'm currently working on or anything like that. But, I can talk about things that I've done and projects I've been on.
Are there any projects you're working on that you're able to talk about, or is everything under NDAs?
I could talk about my game.
Well, let's hear about it.
My game is a years and years ago when I left film, I wanted to do a goodbye video or a goodbye game, like a goodbye demo. Actually, let me rewind. When I was at Blue Skies, three of my best friends that worked there, we made a puppet show, and that puppet show was called Treehouse Studios. And the puppet show was all about, the behind-the-scenes look of, like, a very, very adult-oriented behind-the-scenes look of making children's movies, all with puppets. And it went on for, I think it went on for, a good 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
And it was, and I'm surprised we didn't get fired. There were many times we actually referenced the squirrel from Ice Age and made fun of it. So when we left, I wanted to make a demo of a game. I wanted to do a fighting game where I fought my evil friend Nick from the show. And so I started messing around in Game Maker and doing things in Game Maker to try and get a character to punch a bag and then it dies and stuff like that. And my brother sees it. My brother's a software engineer, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I said, "I don't know. I move things around for a living. I don't know this programming code sorcery. I'm just doing my best." And he's like, "Let me just send it to me." And me and him ended up building this 2-player demo that me and my friend played on my last day, fighting each other. It's like this pixelated 2D version of our puppet selves in a fighting game. And that got a ball rolling that has been going on for years with me and my brother. Just prototyping things, concepts, ideas, stuff like that. And then not too long ago, it was probably March, we were working on a game that I came up with called TR1S, and it's this it's this space saga. It's basically we've been writing it and stuff, and we decided to take TR1S and actually expand on the universe, and in that universe came this cyborg thing called KROOM. And KROOM is the name of the game that I'm doing now. So that it is a retro hack and slash shooter game. It looks a lot like the NES era of video games, if I had to be specific. So but we do take liberties with the visuals. So for instance, on the original NES, there was no transparency channel. So, but in this, we use it, but we don't go overboard. We use it only where it feels right. So what we're going for is actually, you guys ever play an old game when you were a kid, and then you went back and you had fond memories of it, and then you went back to it and it completely sucked?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
This is we're going to be playing the game that you wanted to play.
Exactly. That's what we're going for, is what you remembered in your head, those fond memories. That's what we're going for. So it's been a lot of fun. It's incredibly hard work. Pixel art is not easy at all. Anybody who thinks so has never done it, because the bottom line is you have a limited amount of points to make something read, and then you have to make those points actually animate and look good and still look like it's what it is. It's really difficult.
Yeah, you usually only get two of the three for a lot of people, and then you have me reviewing the game going, ugh. It's really, really hard, and it takes a lot of time. But it's kind of, and that's another place we're taking liberties with, is with the animation. So because I'm an animator by trade, I'm really pushing the frame rate of the animations, but it's in 8-bit, so it looks really strange but cool, because it doesn't look like stuff should move that way, but it does. It's kind of hard to explain.
It's something that is better seen than heard. Yeah.
I posted a picture of or a video of the rat walk I'm working on. I'm doing this were-rat thing for level 2. We're working on level 2 right now, and it's a sewer level. Yep, I said it. It's a sewer level, and I'm owning that proudly. There's a lot of hate towards sewer levels lately. It wouldn't be a retro game without a sewer level. So, I could send that along to you guys, and you guys can check it out to see exactly what I'm talking about. But it's I'm really happy with the way it's going. And to answer Carnage's question, it might. We actually threw the idea around. It's basically every trope you can think of, every 80s NES trope you can think of is in the game so far. So it's been a lot of fun. My brother's a genius. Patrick Hickey is we hired him as our writer to help evolve the story, because ideally it's going to be a trilogy ending with the original TR1S idea. And so he's kind of writing the overarching story over the 3 episodes, and doing dialogue for the game, while I'm doing all the art direction and game design with my brother. He's doing the game design and engineering, game design as well, and engineering on it. So
it sounds really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a fun and interesting experience, and I wish I could do it all the time. Unfortunately, I don't have that luxury. Right now, it is the epitome of what an indie game is. It's literally 2 guys with full-time jobs that
working on a game in their spare time
with no funding, and just being creative and doing what we love to do. So,
what kind of platforms are you aiming for with this one?
Well, initially we're going to release to PC. Who knows by the time it comes out what that platform would be.
You could get bought up by Epic.
You never know, right? I mean, it's Epic's like really giving Steam a run for its money right now, and then you have all those streaming services on the horizon, and that's interesting too. And so honestly, PC initially, and then we'll go from there based on its response. So.
Carnage saying would love to see it on Xbox with the ID at Xbox program. I agree. We love seeing games come to Xbox, so I'd love to see that as well.
Game Pass for PC. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I really like the Xbox a lot. I was Sony guy for a while. And for a while, I mean, for the PS4.
Clutching my pearls.
So I was, when I had a 360, and I think the reason why I switched over was because my 360 crashed and broke 3 times. And, but I did end up getting an Xbox, and I'm very happy with it. So, In fact, I play that more than anything else now. So
yeah,
we'll forgive you for having the PlayStation.
Well, my son hijacked it from me.
I always find it odd when people say they play on one platform and then switch to another, because one of my driving factors for going from a 360, even though I killed like 5 of them, my biggest driving factor from going from a 360 to the one was that all my friends were there.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been, the same group of people that I've been playing games with almost every day for a decade. And I couldn't imagine just not playing with them and starting all over on another platform. Having to talk to randoms with this voice is a nightmare. I like these guys. They knew I sounded funny and they didn't give me grief for it.
Well, for me, I don't have that problem because I don't really like playing online games. So I don't like talking to people I don't know. You guys are an exception because I've already heard you talk and stuff, and I know you're good people. So
my problem is I'm a secret shit talker.
Oh.
I'm so toxic. That's why they keep me in party chat so that nobody can hear me.
Oh wow!
I can be a little unruly. I used to play Halo. You know how Halo 3 had the sticky bombs and you throw them at people and they'd stick on their damn faces?
Mm-hmm.
I'd do that. And then, of course, Halo 3 had proximity chat. And I'd be like, here, hold my balls. And I sound like this. But it would be hilarious. And then they'd get so mad and then I'd get banned for a week.
Oh, God.
So then when party chat became a thing, that I stopped getting banned. But I still get to tell people to hold my balls.
God.
They just don't hear me say it.
What are we going to do with you?
That's a good question.
Root Beer's My Jam says that they own all 3 but play the Switch more than anything else. I'm there too. I love owning all 3. It's good to have the option to have everything there, and I'm still an Xbox guy though. That comes first for me.
Yeah, I'm primarily a Nintendo guy. I do have a Switch, but I'm more of a retro gamer myself. Most of the games that I play are usually old NES games. I collect them. I have about 700 of them.
Oh wow!
So I pull one off the wall every once in a while, and I'll throw it in and I'll play it. And I have a lot of joy in doing that, more so than playing modern games. And people think I'm nuts for it, but
I feel you, man. I love, my friend just sent me Skies of Arcadia on GameCube. I know that's not as retro as NES, but just that older console, popping it in and playing it again, it makes you feel like a kid again.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes that's what you need after a long day, So,
do you have any special rarities in your NES collection?
Probably the 2 of the rarest things I have are I have a gold Famicom cartridge of Punch-Out. The story goes that before Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was released, there was a tournament on the Famicom disk system that called US Golf or something like that, and they had a tournament, and whoever won the tournament got a copy of Punch-Out before it was actually Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. And it plays just like Punch-Out, but it almost looks like a prototype. And I found it at a convention not too long ago. Apparently there's only like 15,000 of them.
Wow.
But I have no idea how it's not a small fortune to buy. Because of just what it is, it actually threw me back as to like how cheap it was relatively to the other, like to say something like Little Samson, which is like the holy grail of the NES collection. I think it goes for like $1,700.
Good God!
Yikes!
And but this one was I paid $180 for it.
No, that's not bad at all.
Nah, like comparatively, it's kind of shocking. But
yeah, I'd expect something like that to have a much higher price tag.
Yeah, and then my other crown piece in my collection is the Famicom Famicom Disk System Duo, which has like it has on the top is the Famicom, and you kind of like a top loads and the cartridges on the top, and then it has the actual disk system, but it's one unit. It's not two separate units.
Oh wow!
Like it originally was. So, and it's a trip playing those games on that system, because a lot of those disk system games were completely different from the NES counterparts that were released in America.
In what ways?
Mainly sound. The sound, like that, I think there was an extra sound channel, so a lot of the soundtracks sound completely different. Like Metroid on the NES compared to the Metroid on the Famicom Disk System title screen, just totally different sound, much more rich, I think. And they were able to get away with adding more like little voice sort of samples, or I think it's called PCM channel or something like that. But,
that sounds really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like one of the most interesting things is like, I'm sorry, I'm totally geeking out on you guys, but on the original,
this is the best place to geek out.
Cool. So I'm with my people.
I got to geek out quick, because No Time for Games not only subscribe it, that's their 18th month in a row. 18. Wow. Good God. Why? Thank you. And then Awesome Prime dropped a couple of biddies. So dropping bits. So thank you. Anyway, as you were saying, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. Some of the differences between like the American release and like, I just dropped something. Sorry.
It's broken.
I hope not. It's my little handheld Tower of Jiraga dig dug machine. I don't want that to be.
Ooh.
I just keep it at my desk. But so the original Legend of Zelda on the disk system, I remember getting it as a kid. The Zelda that was released here as a kid, and reading the manual, because back then you would read the manuals from front to back, and you would scour it for any kind of tips or anything you can find.
Back then we had manuals.
Yeah. And so one of the enemies, it always confused me as to why it says they don't like loud noise. Like, this enemy does not like loud noise. And for years I was like, okay, I'm going to place a bomb next to it, see what happens. Nothing. They were like really difficult enemies. They were called the Pulse Voice. They looked like rabbits almost.
Yeah.
And man, that I find out years later that the Famicom version has a microphone in it, and you scream into the microphone and the things disappear. And things like that are just so cool to me. I love things like that. Like, I love playing the original, like the Super Mario 2 that came out in America was actually a reskin of a game for the disk system called the Doki Doki Panic. And I played Doki Doki Panic for the first time, at the beginning of this year, and it blew my mind, because it was like playing Super Mario Brothers 2 that I remember in like another dimension or something. So,
besides the sprite changes, what kind of differences are there between Doki Doki Panic and Mario 2?
Really, really not that much, actually. Just the characters. The sound effects are a little different, but even down to some of the soundtracks are the same. Like the menu where you're selecting which character to choose is almost exactly the same sound, exactly the same music as the one that was released here. So, yeah, it's that kind of stuff. Just I love geeking out over those things, because it kind of helps the story of the game that I grew up with, that I love. It helps kind of like enrich the story of how it came to be,
That's really awesome. I love
a huge retro gaming. Oh man, I'm such a huge retro gaming nerd.
I'm there with you, man. My first system was ColecoVision, so I love the retro stuff.
Right on.
See, I remember playing the retro stuff, but I don't remember it in enough detail to like geek out over it. I'm a little sad about that. I wish I did remember it better.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why it's such a big thing for me. It's not like I didn't have video games growing up or anything like that. It's just something about it just talks to me. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain, but yeah, that's what I do when I'm not working. So
that's really awesome.
That's still technically work because that's research.
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually is. You know, that's actually you can write it off as research. And
but, whatever works.
Yeah, but you gotta have the right accountants that know what the hell they're doing.
Those are hard to come by.
Yeah. Yeah, but I've been up since about 4 this morning. I just can't sleep. I just I had this big deadline tomorrow, and
No.
I woke up at 4 this morning, and I was just like, oh man, I gotta get to work, and I just couldn't go back to sleep once I was awake. So I haven't really slept today or last night very much.
Are you one of those artists that works better at night or when it's dark?
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's just part of the creativity curse, maybe. There's just something better about working late at night.
Yeah.
My kids are gone to school all day, and I could sit here and draw dicks and not have a problem. But I can't bring myself to do it. But let the sun go down, and I'm sitting here going, this one's in a chicken hoodie. This one's got a unicorn horn. This one's got...
Oh, my God.
I don't only draw dicks, for the record. Sometimes
it sounds like that. It sounds like that. You just that's just your it's your calling card.
Basically,
yeah.
Sometimes I like to draw crows and ravens, and when I'm not drawing dicks, and I had penned a couple that I had drawn on Pinterest. And then I got a suicide alert warning on my Pinterest page. It was like, do you need help? Are you sad? I'm like, Jesus Christ, no, I'm fine. I just like black birds.
Really? I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, it come up. It was like, we have concerns about the things that you're pinning because other people who have pinned these things have been depressed. And I'm like, you hear me? I sound like a fucking bubblegum pop character. My whole life was pink and rainbows and glitter. Just sometimes I like black birds. Pinterest knows something about me I don't.
Oh, good God.
That's interesting. I had no idea that was even that there was even a screening for that sort of thing on social media.
Oh, yeah. It's funny because it's only been Pinterest that has pegged me for that. And I post my stuff everywhere because I'm poor and that's the only way to get people to buy my shit. And never in a million years would I have thought that a raven skull and some poppies would get popped. There was another one I drew, and sadly they cut all my analytics for it and everything, and they made it couldn't be repinned. But it wasn't the raven skull one that got popped that hard. The one that I did, it was like a skeleton leaning backward, like it was kind of back arched, and then there were red poppies coming out of the rib cage, and it wasn't violent or anything. It was just leaning back with poppies in the rib cage, and they nailed it. You can't repin it. I can't repin it from another link to try to promote it. I can't do shit with it.
Wow.
They said no.
Wow.
You shut that shit the fuck down.
Yeah. Joke's on them. It's still my most popular painting. They're just missing out on ad revenue.
I don't think I've seen that one. You'll have to link me to it.
It's probably one of my better ones. Every time I look at it, I see where I fuck things up, though.
Well, you learn with
You're just talking about never being happy with your own work.
Yeah, you never are.
That's another sign of a creative.
You do that. You watch them. If you look back at movies that you've worked on or games you worked on, and you see it, and you just go, "Oh, but it could have moved a quarter inch this way instead."
Yeah, I do that all the time.
I'm just like, that one shadow is just in the wrong fucking spot.
Yeah, I remember I worked one of the very first films I worked on was a movie called Robots, and there was this gag that was one of the characters farts, of course, and
kids movie staple.
Yeah, and then this lamppost comes to life and chokes on the fart and dies. And so I did this thing where I took both hands and I went around his neck, like under his mouth, wherever his mouth was. And then I worked on it, checked it, double checked it, got it approved by the director. Everybody was happy with it. It goes to render, comes back. And when he goes to like grab his neck, one of his hands actually goes above his head. And so it was supposed to be the universal choking sign, but it actually ended up being one of his hands goes like almost on top of his head. And it read fine, but it's not the way I did it. And the reason why was because there was a 100th of a decimal value on one of my arm controllers that was slowly moving from one point to another, and because of that, when it went to switch the arm control, it actually popped it off its controller.
Oh wow!
And man, that sucked.
It's amazing,
and it still exists in the movie to this day.
It's amazing how easy it is to make those mistakes, because that's one thing you have to worry about that I don't. I mean, if I put some paint down, that's that, but I can go over that shit with a Posca pen and fix it later.
Yeah.
You know, when you make something just as small as a tiny typo, you have to worry about all of it coming apart.
Yeah. Yep. It's
you don't get a Posca pen in animation to fix your shit.
No, I wish I did.
But you have Control Z in the work process.
What's
you
that?
don't Control Z, the undo button.
Oh yes, Control Z.
We don't get to Control Z on watercolor.
No, you don't. That's the trade-off, I suppose.
Oh my lord. On that note, I know we've been chatting for quite a while, Pete. Is there anything that you wanted to discuss that we didn't bring up at all?
No, not really. I just thought you guys sounded cool, and that I figured I'd offer to come talk to you if you were interested in hearing my story. Or most of what I've done throughout my career has been pretty remarkable as far as I'm concerned. I'm very, very fortunate to do what I do, and the thing that I always tell people is that if you have a passion and you really want to do something and you're dedicated to it, you have to drop everything, like and literally put in the work, because once you get past that barrier of getting into whatever it is you want to do and being successful at it, you never want to be anywhere else. So,
good advice.
Yeah, never give up, never quit.
And that's why this show is still going 6 years later.
Wow, 6 years! Congrats! I just ended mine last night. I did it for 4 years, and I thought that was a long time.
Yep, I have that little of a life that I've been doing this for 6 years.
Oh, congrats! That's a good long time, man.
Yeah,
we have to at least keep going to 666, because then I came up with doing the whole episode backward, and I'm not letting us die before that happens.
Well, yeah, I'm definitely going to keep listening, and it was great talking to you guys. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for coming on and chatting with us. It's been fantastic having you on. Again, your resume is impressive. Where can people find out more about you? Where can people stay in touch with you?
Sure. So I am at Pete Paquette on Twitter. Well, I don't know my screen name on Instagram, but I'm looking right now. My name on Instagram is Pete_Paquette, and you can see me in either spot. And if you're interested in, following the game that I'm developing with my brother, KROOMgame.com is kind of the hub for that, and it'll guide you to my brother's weekly Twitch streams of development and artwork and stuff that I've been doing. And so, yeah.
Now, meant to ask earlier, Carnage asked in chat, is there an ETA on KROOM, or is it still too early to tell?
It's still too early.
All right.
My brother went into it thinking we would be done by the end of this year, and I told him back then he was fucking crazy. And I can see this going on for another year or two even before it's ready. Maybe even longer. It's literally, we work maybe 2 hours, 3 hours a day on it. So it's making a game is hard work, and it takes a long time when you don't have the resources. So.
Well, we will definitely keep our eyes on it. It sounds awesome. I am looking forward to hearing more about it. Again, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Do you have any final words before we let you go?
I have some advice for Cole.
Okay.
With her endeavors with the coloring book. You're only good as your last review, so make sure that you're always showing people your work.
That's so hard for me. It's the one thing I struggle with the most.
Well, I can't imagine a lot of people would necessarily be open to seeing it. But if you find people that are, you should totally rely on them as much as you can to get feedback from people.
Thank you. I appreciate the advice.
Sure.
It's good advice.
Sure. You want them to be as perfect as they can be.
Perfect little peonies.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Have yourself a wonderful night, and thank you again for coming on.
No problem. Take it easy.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, my Lord. That was fantastic.
It really was.
I love having people on who actually want to come on the show, where they listen to our show and they're like, you know what? I'm down with that kind of stupid. I like stupid, and I like their stupid.
When somebody says, well, I heard the show, and I'm like, wait, really?
And you're here?
What?
What the fuck episode did you listen to?
We're sorry? So one of the guys from that does medical transport that takes me back and forth to my doctor's appointments. He was like, oh, I'm going to listen to the show. And I was like, oh, why? He's like, that's not how you get people to listen to your podcast. I was like, I know. I'm trying to save you.
Save yourself while you can. I listened to this episode.
Warned.
It's not that good.
What happens after I warn you is up to you. Don't come at me the next time I have to ride with you and be like, that show sucked. I fucking told you.
I like the reviews episodes because I'm there as little as possible. It's just everyone else talking about their games and me occasionally going, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, tell me about that. Oh, do you have any negatives about the game? Orange Door Bros. I'm guessing that was him saying thank you for having me on the show. So thank you again for coming on, Pete. It was fantastic having you on. It was a blast. It was a really fun chat. We'll have to have you back on again sometime.
It was nice to get a break and have somebody I could chat art shit to.
Yeah.
That doesn't usually happen for me on here. Like, I started talking about Peanuts coloring books and everybody just goes awkwardly silent for a while. This time I had some feedback on it.
You had feedback on your dick book.
I'm so happy.
When KROOM is ready to go, we'll have to have you and Patrick come on together, and that would be insane.
Yeah, that would be good.
Oh, man. But there is a lot more show
dicks.
that we have to take care of. Yeah, speaking of dicks, a lot more show to take care of. We got a lot of news we got to discuss. Are you ready for the rest of the show?
No.
Tough shit.
Hate you too, Joe. Goddamn. I need another drink.
Are you really going to go get a drink right now?
No, but I'm going to finish this one and be sad about it.
Can't you text D and just be like, get me a new drink?
No, because if he leaves the room, the dogs start barking. That's counterproductive. That's why his bitch has... He's also probably asleep.
Nah.
I love him, but I'm like, it's like 7:45. He's like, I'm going to go ahead and go lock up. Yeah, because, bitch, you're going to bed.
Oh, boy.
Meanwhile, I'll be here at like 12:05. Like, fuck, I guess I gotta go to bed.
Next game to talk about. It's now 1:30 in the morning, and Dark Meek is about to join us to talk about some games. By the way, she's going to be joining us later on. She has some games to talk about as well, so we'll be talking to her later on. But
this is a full roster.
It is. It's a big show. We got a big one.
Fuck a dick.
She said, and one of hers is long, so buckle the fuck up. We got more to do.
I am gonna sneak off and go get a pop when that happens.
You ready for news?
Yeah.
Big news of the week is probably the announcement of September's PlayStation Plus and Games with Gold lineups. Have you seen them?
I saw Games with Gold.
Okay, Games
I don't
with
give
Gold.
a fuck about PlayStation.
Games with Gold is okay.
Yeah.
On Xbox One, we're getting Hitman, the complete first season through the entire month of September. And then from September 16th through October 15th, we're getting the brand new release indie game, We Were Here. I don't know anything about it. It looks cute.
I don't know squat.
My gripe, it's a $5 game.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, we're gonna start seeing Ratalaika games and Games with Gold.
We're getting a $5 game as a monthly freebie. Like that, it's cool that it's new. It's cool that it's something I know I don't own. But $5, you cheap fucks, please. Oh, man. Xbox 360 from the 1st through the 15th is Earth Defense Force 2025, which they claim is still valued at $50. So maybe that's where they're getting their value for the month. But I don't see that still being worth $50. You can pick it up at GameStop for like 20, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And September 16th through the 30th is Tekken Tag Tournament 2. So solid lineup. That $5 indie, it just irks me. It's a $5 game.
Oh, it's on Steam. The base game is free to play, and then you pay like $4 for the DLC.
No.
Yeah.
Still.
Interesting. That's.
So what do you think of the month?
I mean, it's fine, I guess. I don't particularly care about Hitman. I think the biggest thing I saw that people were fussing, if you had Hitman 2, Hitman 1 came with it. And so there's a lot of people that probably already have it.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's just, hey, Game Pass will probably get good games. So
True.
Nobody's going to have time for Games with Gold stuff anyway.
True. PlayStation Plus, though, they got a pretty good lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got Batman Arkham Knight and Darksiders 3.
Okay.
That's two pretty solid games.
But they don't have Game Pass.
Come on, you got to give it to them. When they have a good month, they get the win this month. It is a good month.
It is.
Darksiders 3, I think, earns them the win. That's a pretty solid get.
I'm impressed to see that be a freebie already.
Yeah. Some more news. Hand of the Gods SMITE Tactics will be shutting down January 1st and will no longer be playable. So if you have any achievements that you want to get in Hand of the Gods, you should probably chop and get on that.
I think I have that. I'm not sure. If I did, I probably never played it, so it's okay.
Nothing else.
Nothing else. That's like I'm trying to even like place if I know what it is. Don't know. Next.
Well, here's something that you know exists. Ashen is going to be releasing on December 9th for Switch, PS4, Steam, and GOG.
Everybody getting it now.
Yep, everyone's getting Ashen now because the whole Epic exclusivity is over.
Mm-hmm. Well, Xbox had Oh, well, no, wait. That's the one that Epic swooped in at the end, didn't they?
Yeah, I think it's still released on Windows 10, I believe.
No.
Did it not?
Because remember, I was like, that's the shitty part where it was supposed to be Play Anywhere with Windows 10, and it wasn't.
I thought it eventually did release on Windows 10.
I don't know.
I don't know
can
either.
check.
I'm checking now. No, it doesn't show up.
See?
I guess it's not on Windows 10.
I know what I'm talking about sometimes.
Sons of bitches.
I got this.
Some of them bitches. Speaking of Epic Games, Bee Simulator is the latest game to jump on the exclusivity bandwagon.
Were people looking forward to this one?
I think so. It's coming to Xbox as well. It's still coming to consoles. It's just the PC release that's going to be Epic only. It's still going to be hitting, I believe, all consoles, Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation.
Okay.
But I'm just getting tired of seeing news of like, oh, we're going exclusive to Epic Games Store. Like, just stop announcing it. Just do it.
Just do it and get it over with.
Yeah.
And then just be like, when people say, hey, where can we get it? Be like, Epic.
Yeah, just
and be done with it.
Release on Epic and let it be over and done with.
At this point, like, it's almost like they're slapping that cross on their chest and going, come get me. Because they know they're going to draw the ire of people who hate Epic.
Yeah.
And to some extent, it's almost like they're, there's no such thing as bad publicity as long as they spell your name right. True. Have you ever heard that? So yeah. That almost feels like the path some of them are trying to take. If we don't say it poorly, we won't get death threats. But we'll still be in the news.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
I don't know.
It feels like a fad now where it's the cool thing to announce that you're Epic exclusive and to get hate for it. I'm tired of hearing developers say they're going exclusive. Just do it, release it, get it over and done with.
Right.
And deal with the whatever backlash then. Stop announcing this shit because it just makes things more annoying for everybody.
I'm assuming to some extent that might be on Epic's part too, because we're going to give you money. Now you got to tell everybody that we did it. And that's the way that cookie crumbles.
I know the developer for Dark is getting a lot of attention because they came out and stated they would not be an exclusive. They were approached to be an exclusive and they wanted to sell the game everywhere. They were like, we'll gladly release on there as a non-exclusive. And Epic said no. They wouldn't let them on the store unless it was an exclusive. And I think that is some bullshit. If you want a game on your store, let the game on your store exclusive or not. If they turn down your exclusivity deal, just let them release on your store anyway. They want to release there, let them do it. The developer even offered to make 100% of their proceeds from Epic Game Store go to charity. And I think it's still like waiting on an answer to see if Epic's going to bite or not. But, if you want a game on your store and they don't want to be exclusive, don't be a prick about it. Let them on your store.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked by that. I think the thing that shocks me about it too is that they made a big deal about how, we're pro developer and you'll make more from us. And hey, if you built the game on our engine, then you won't have any extra fees. You'll get a discount on the seller's fees and you'll make even more on top of that.
Yeah.
But then they're turning around going, oh, but you don't want to take our money? Well, fuck you.
Yeah, that's what sours me on Epic. It's just dumb at this point. But anyway, other news, an officially licensed Overwatch-themed Nintendo Switch carrying case was listed on Amazon before quickly being delisted. A lot of people think this points at a Switch release for Overwatch coming very soon.
I thought that was... Oh, it was not announced. It was still just rumor, I guess, then.
Yeah.
I thought everybody was hollering about Tracer being on Smash.
Yeah, people are thinking that there's going to be some kind of announcement at a direct that not only is Overwatch releasing on the Switch, but someone from Overwatch is going to be in Smash Brothers. I think that's maybe hoping a bit too much.
Yeah.
But it'd be cool to see someone from Overwatch and Smash. I just think that's asking a bit too much at this point.
Aki said she wants Tracer to smash her. Look,
Oh,
Aki, we don't need your boner culture in our show. Lady boner culture.
Oh, boy. Some retro game news. The Mega Man Zero and ZX collection will be releasing January 21st on Xbox One, Switch, PS4, and Steam for $29.99 with Mega Man Zero 1, 2, 3, and 4, Mega Man ZX, and Mega Man ZX Advent all together, along with some behind-the-scenes stuff and all that fun soundtrack goodies and, everything they do with their Mega Man re-releases.
And how much was that?
$30 for 6 games.
That's not too bad.
So I'm looking forward to that. I love all these Mega Man re-releases. I say bring them the fuck on. I will get them all.
You ever just get tired and you look at one and go, nah, I'm fine. Don't need that.
Nope.
Okay.
You know how how people have like tons of different groups that they use on Xbox? Where it's like I have a group of stuff I'm going to stream, stuff I'm going to play on the side, stuff that I want to complete, stuff I'm doing. You
literally just have a Mega Man one, don't you?
No, I have my pins for stuff that I play frequently or stuff that I'm reviewing, and then I have retro of everything that is retro.
Does that slow your Xbox down? Does it just because I know that's a big ass folder.
It is a big folder. I think there's 100 things in there.
That's nuts.
Yeah. I have a lot of retro shit. They released a lot of retro shit.
I tried to keep up with folders of this is the games I've got to review this week. This is the ones that I've got coming up later. And I couldn't keep up with it. I keep forgetting to move them. So then I just went and deleted them all, and now I still just have pins. And the pins are just the games that I play co-op.
Yeah.
And then I just go into my games and apps for everything else.
I have too much stuff to sort it all out.
You can press Y anywhere on the dashboard and get the search bar.
Yep.
So that's just what I do a lot of times. I'm like, press Y. Hard to, yeah, Stu is making fun of my lack of hard drives. He's got he uses one of those little docks that looks like a toaster and then has laptop hard drives slotted into it. He's got, I think he said 4 terabyte or something like that, which is stupid because he has a minuscule fraction of the games that I have. I hit the 1,000 mark recently. 1,000
games?
Yeah.
Nice.
He went in to download something and he just put the controller down and he looked at me, he goes, "What have you been doing?" And I was like, "Lots of reviews." It's that time of year. I haven't painted in 3 weeks because all I can see is my ready to install.
You're welcome.
My eyes. Yeah, I close my eyes and the ready to install screen and all the game box art starts chasing after me. It's never done.
I mean, to my defense, you don't have to accept all the games I offer you.
I know, but then I feel bad. I do. I have some horrible, you'd think I was Catholic with the way I get guilty.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
But more on reviews later.
Yeah.
Speaking of retro games, it was announced at the GameStop's manager conference. It leaked out and then was confirmed the next day that Aladdin and Lion King games from the Super Nintendo and Genesis are going to be getting re-released on Xbox, Switch, and PS4 sometime this fall. It was originally rumored as October, but it's officially just sometime this fall.
I'm so excited.
I am too. I
remember playing these, and it's not often, like I said during the interview, it's not often where somebody starts talking about a retro game and I'm like, "Oh, I remember that one," or "Oh, I played that," or "I love that." I'll remember vaguely playing it, but not full on the story or anything like that. But Aladdin and the Lion King, I can flat out still see the images in my mind, and I'm like, yes, I can't wait. It's gonna be $3 million or whatever, and or I'm already gonna have 428 games when they come in and just have to go, "God damn it, give it to Aki."
Oh, God. That's if we get it. I don't know who's publishing. I don't know if we'll cover it. I know Adam and Mike worked on it. which is
well,
pretty
then
cool.
you're
Digital
gonna end
clips.
up. You're gonna get it. You got
see.
contacts.
Just because I know them doesn't mean that we get things automatically.
Baloney.
Dark Miko, which game I missed something? Nah, don't worry about it. You'll be fine.
You're not gonna get it anyway.
There was a Lord of the Rings adventure card game that launched this week on Xbox One for like a day. Did you see this?
I heard it launched. What do you mean a day? What happened?
Apparently it's off the store already.
What?
Yeah, Carnage said it was pulled off the store. So unless he's pulling my leg,
Where's my controller? Carnage line.
is he lying?
Maybe. Where's my? I think my cat is laying on my controller.
No. Well, either way, it released this week and it was launched direct to Game Pass.
But then it's gone.
I don't. Now I'm looking up on the store because I want to know.
Lord.
Carnage is pulling our chain or not. Looking dead air.
It's not. Wait. Oh.
Yeah, I don't see
No?
it in the new games anymore.
What was it called? Do we know?
Lord of the Rings adventure card game.
Just that?
Yes.
Was it released too early on accident or something? Like, what happened here?
I don't know.
That sounds like a working prototype title, not an actual.
I don't know.
Tolkien is rolling in his grave with that shit. What is this?
I don't know.
I'm confused. Oh, God, make the ready to install go away.
Forza Horizon 4 has exceeded 12 million players worldwide. Exactly 8 of those are from Japan.
Really?
No.
Okay. After you said it, I let it process a second. I was like, that
sounds
incredibly
realistic.
believable.
That sounds
and then
realistic.
Maybe I'm laughing and it's bad.
I'm sure it's at least double digits from Japan.
You had me concerned for a second.
Oh man. Last bit of news I have is that Telltale Games is allegedly being revived after its assets were purchased by a company called LCG Entertainment. The new company will sell some of Telltale's back catalog and work on new games based on a few of Telltale properties and new licenses. Apparently two of the licenses explicitly mentioned were Batman and Wolf Among Us. So maybe Wolf Among Us 2 is still a possible game that we might see in the future. What do you think of Telltale coming back?
In about 6 more years.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's a little rough to flat out say Telltale is coming back because most of the devs who worked for Telltale have moved on.
Yeah.
This is not going to be the same group. And so what are they going to do to beloved franchises? There's a lot of potential for either Wolf Among Us, which, let's face it, is the only one anybody really gives a fuck about coming out. And I don't blame them. But
I was looking forward to Stranger Things.
Oh, I forgot about Stranger Things. Although I doubt that that's going to hit now.
Yeah.
I don't see that one being a thing. Strange or otherwise. But there's an element of the team that works on a game putting themselves into the game. And when you don't have that same team, that shows. And you can, even with the difference between Skybound taking over the last episode of The Walking Dead, or the last season, you can tell where Telltale was, and you can tell where Skybound starts.
Yeah.
And so that's going to happen with The Wolf Among Us. And it's like, I'm excited and I want to see The Wolf Among Us 2 happen. I really want to see where it goes, but I'm cautiously optimistic because it's like they're going to have to bring in all new devs, and what are they going to fuck up? Yeah,
well, they said they were going to reach out to as many former devs as they could to try bringing them back in some sort of role.
But
we'll see.
All honesty, if you got laid off from Telltale the way they did it, new management or not, if Telltale shows up on your caller ID, you going to answer that call?
True.
Okay. Because I wouldn't.
These sons of bitches.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, my brother. I've seen that number before.
One other little thing to touch on. Root Beer is My Jam wanted us to bring this up. There was a story on Vice about Microsoft contractors who listened to Xbox owners in their home. The article starts off saying contractors working for Microsoft have listened to audio of Xbox users speaking in their homes in order to improve the console's voice command features. The audio was supposed to be captured following a voice command like Xbox or Hey Cortana, but contractors said recordings were sometimes triggered and recorded by mistake. I don't see this being an issue. It's something that we all knew, that the console was going to record your voice after it heard Xbox or Hey Cortana or something remotely close to it, because the Kinect was sometimes stupidly oversensitive.
I like how Studa said no improvements on my end. That's true. Studa still, well, he says, hey, Eternal, and Cortana pops up.
Nice.
He'll be smack in the middle of Rocket League. I guarantee you 90% of the scores against us has been because he said Eternal, and it's popped up Cortana. And sometimes it's not
Cole.
it's not even, like, it would be so weird. I don't think Studa could call me Cole if his life depended on it. It's weird to say his name too. So I don't think, even after 10 years, we could meet face to face. I'd be like, Studa, you bitch. But I don't think I would ever call him his name, and I doubt he'd ever call me Cole. That's a weird conundrum. But here's the thing that I look at when it comes to all the smart devices that can use your voice. That's a risk you knowingly take when you have a microphone in your house. No matter what it's connected to, no matter who owns the database that is getting saved up in.
There could be people watching me right now for all I know.
They probably see you picking your nose.
Probably.
And they probably think you need to trim your beard.
Well, yeah. Can't deny that one.
But I mean, it's one of those things that it's just kind of an inevitable invasion of privacy that you accept when you go the route of using these smart products and these AI assistants.
Like, all I have to do is go, hey Siri, and my phone's going to start listening to me. Yeah, there it goes.
Yeah. And you don't even need to say it yourself. You can be watching a YouTube video. I've done it to Studa, where I've said, okay, Google, and his headset's been up loud enough that his phone has caught it. And I've activated his phone.
His phone just got activated right now, actually.
Yeah, probably.
Son of a bitch.
I'm going to get a Facebook message. Damn you. But I mean, I personally turn those kind of assistants off, and I don't nope, I'm safe this time. But I don't have an issue with it because I go into it knowing that that's a potential thing that could happen. As far as the Xbox goes, there's options to turn all that stuff off, and it asks you repeatedly, do you want to turn this shit off? Yeah. And you can choose. There's games we've done for review. Blackout Club, for example, records your voice and uses it for whispers. Mm-hmm. And you can choose yes or no. It has to ask you. And if you choose no, then it just doesn't do it.
Although if you're playing in a party chat, that doesn't work.
It doesn't work anyway.
Yeah.
Same with Steam. There are Steam games, Nevermind, can record your microphone and your camera and use that to affect the game. So, it's a matter of, personal responsibility, if you will. I hate to use that phrase because it often gets, but it listens all the time. It does. And I mean, again, that's because he says it listens all the time waiting to hear the prompt. And I mean, that's just something it's doing, My mic, if there are times where I'm doing the budget. Like when I call and I pay my electric bill, I unplug my microphone from the computer just to be safe, you know, like because I'm giving out my electric account number and my phone or my credit card over the phone, and then because of course Redneck Internet or Redneck Electric Company doesn't let you pay online, but they'll let you do it over the phone. So I mean, it's something that I know anyway that they're always listening, but I'm not bothered by it.
No.
I do think that some, root beer is my jam since I have stickers on them. And I've said that before when I was using my old all-in-one computer. I kept tape over the webcam. It was just a thing. I just didn't want to. I remember being told a story by one of the chicks in my mom's group where she was watching Netflix with a friend on her laptop, and she had somehow gotten some kind of malware that turned her webcam on and took a picture. And then she got a message that was like, if you don't send X amount of money to this Cash App, then we'll release this embarrassing photo of you. And she was like, fuck if I care. I'm sitting there eating popcorn, you know? So it just seems like common sense. If I don't want it to accidentally flip on and see that sometimes I'm sitting here playing video games half naked and drinking Dr. Pepper and eating Cheetos.
Yeah, I figure if someone at Microsoft or one of their contractors or whoever they pick up wants to see me in my underwear yelling, no, Xbox, no, stop listening, stop listening, then let them.
Yeah. But he says that not everybody realizes it. At this point in time, there's not an excuse for a parent to be that technologically dumb. Most parents at this point, even of teenagers, are millennials. We grew up with the internet. We know what this shit's doing. Yeah. It's on us.
There are still some idiots out there, but
there are.
I don't think this is a big deal in the end. I really don't. I think we all know that we're always being recorded. It's
simple enough to just unplug it or turn it off if it bothers you. And I do give Microsoft credit because, like I said in the tweet about it, you can go into Microsoft. It was kind of funny because I did it because I hadn't checked it in a long time because I've had Cortana off, and so I don't worry about it. And I have it set to where it doesn't record me. And so I went into mine, and I did have a couple of entries, and they were funny because they were conversations with Studa, and like the shortened description of what it thought I had said compared to what I'd actually said when I press play was hilarious. There was one where it thought I had said war, and I'm pretty sure I had said whore.
Oh God.
But there was a whole, there were only like 4 entries for me total, and they were all from 2018 and stuff. No, there isn't an excuse for not knowing about loot boxes and shit. If you're going to bring technology into your home, it's up to you to figure that shit out and not be an idiot about it.
Take some responsibility for what your kids are doing.
I hate when people are like, I can send you a link later, Mika. I don't have it right now. But I hate when people blame, oh, this company recorded this, or this company has loot boxes, and I did. Fucking figure it out. Everything is out there now. As in a case where they do it secretively, and they don't say, hey, there's a microphone on this device. Anything you're talking to is going to have a microphone digitally. And I think that was one of the things, like, people were like, oh my God, I didn't know that Google Home had a microphone. Well, how the fuck did you think it heard you? What happened there? You know? Yeah. So, I mean, there's an extent where you just can't be an idiot about it. But as long as everything is laid out, hey, yes, we record this. If you don't want to opt out, here's how to remove what's been recorded. After that, that's on you.
Pretty much.
So, yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, that's that.
I'm surprised. I think that a lot of people are surprisingly more lax about it than even I am, too. It's the crazy thing. But, I don't know.
But anyway, that's the news. Do you have anything you want to talk about?
You're probably not going to be thrilled with what I want to talk about.
What do you want to talk about?
Ion Fury getting in a shit ton of trouble.
What was that?
Ion Fury getting in a shit ton of trouble.
Oh, Ion Fury, yeah.
The devs did a dumb. And the biggest reason I want to talk about this is because I supported the game. And one of the reasons that I was really into Ion Fury was because it was a take on classic retro 90s first-person shooters with a female protagonist. And that's not shit I saw growing up, and I wanted to experience that. And I thought they, as far as the game goes, did a pretty decent job. They got called out for 2 fuck-ups. One certainly a little bigger fuck-up than the other.
Yeah.
The first one being that there was a lotion pump in the bathroom soap pump, I guess it was, but it said "Ogay" on it
instead of "Olay."
Yeah. So
get it?
Cheap, unfunny, homophobic joke. Fine. It's not a big deal.
That's straight out of Duke Nukem. I can understand that one.
The second one, granted, you had to. My rabbit's tearing up a box. You had to use a mod on Steam to access this room, but the room was in the game. You just had to mod it to get to it, but it had a very bad slur on it that I have no interest in repeating. You're welcome to if you want to, but I don't want to. So the thing is, Void Point, am I right? That's what they're called. The devs.
I believe. I don't recall off the top of my head, but
I can't read my writing.
I think it's Void Point and 3D Realms.
3D Realms is the publisher and Void Point are the developers. So when this was first called out, they made the half-assed excuse that the room was developed by a developer who was not a native English speaker, and he didn't realize it was a bad thing to say, and so they were going to remove it, and they were going to give $10,000 to the Trevor Project, and, have everybody take sensitivity training. Okay.
No.
Then within 24 hours, they said, no, fuck you, we're not censoring our game. And everything shit the bed from there.
Yeah.
And here's where things got worse. Because obviously when people see that you've done something shitty to start with, they start digging to see if you've been shitty elsewhere to justify being pissed. And on Void Point's public Discord server, there was a whole lot of shitty things to be pissed about.
I did not hear about any of these.
Oh my gosh. The transphobia and the homophobia and the misogyny, I know that those are hot button words for people who are not into feminists, but there was a lot of really bad shit said. And apparently one of the developers had a history of saying shit like this on 4chan years ago, before even being part of Void Point. So people were drawing connections going, oh yeah, we're not surprised he was saying shit like this. But the problem is that the developers buckled down over it and, pulled all the rugs out. And it's sad to see a group who has gone and created what is seemingly a very progressive and fantastic game turn around and just shit on all of that with all of the horrible negativity that they had underlying. They had no interest in being apologetic about any of it. They tried initially to keep following up with that not a native English speaker argument, but there were quite a few devs who were very obviously English speakers who had no trouble putting together what they were saying.
Yeah.
So it was clearly, then they tried to say, oh, well, the statements in the Discord were taken out of context. But
see, that I can understand. I know a lot of things get taken out of context and sensationalized these days. So I'm not going to comment on any of that because I don't know about any of that.
Well, the problem with it is that their argument was it was taken out of context. So then people said, okay, show us the context. And the screenshots that they posted were the exact same things that were already out there. So it's just they obviously didn't see it as a negative like everybody else. You know? I don't know. Like they were the exact same screenshots. And you're just sitting here going, come on, guys. It's not this hard to not be assholes these days. Yeah. It's really not.
Just don't be homophobic. Come on.
You know.
That's an easy one.
And the amazing thing is a lot of people, even Aki says, you know, okay, the old gay thing, it's a cheap joke, but it's not worth being mad at. And I think that's how most people felt about it.
Yeah, it's the other one.
But if you're going to use the other one and then you're going to double down, triple down, quadruple down over it, it sucks. And it made me sad because I don't regret giving the game the review I did because I enjoyed the game. Yeah. And I want to be able to say, this is a good game, you should go play it. But simultaneously, I feel like people need to know these are the people who will be taking your money and you might not want to give it to them.
Yeah.
So I have struggled with that all week, like how to talk about it in a regard of, I like the game, but the devs are some shitty people. And everybody, I don't know, I felt like I had an obligation to bring that up and talk about it. And especially given how I had showed support for the game and said, yeah, this was great. I had fun and I enjoyed it. And it was really cool to play a game like this, but with a feminine, you know, protagonist. And then they just pulled the rug out. So I'm sad about it.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Anyway, do your research. Make sure devs aren't shitheads before you give them your money.
But I guess that's it for news. You ready to jump on to reviews?
Let's go.
Because we got plenty of games to talk about tonight. A lot of stuff. This is going to be a long one.
Is it? I mean, I got shit tons, so I know it's going to be long on my part, but...
Yeah.
It's already 11 o'clock. I have to go to bed in half an hour.
I don't think you're going to bed in half an hour.
Fuck.
You're pulling a late night tonight.
Oh, I did this last night and I slept for 4 hours today to make up for it.
You and Pete, both. Neither, not much sleep at all.
Sleep is overrated.
Might as well get this started now then so that we could try getting through these as quick as possible. But the first game to talk about tonight is called Control, developed by Remedy Entertainment, published by 505 Games, released August 27th on Xbox One, PC, and PS4 for $59.99. After a secretive agency in New York is invaded by an otherworldly threat, you become the new director struggling to regain control. This supernatural third-person action adventure will challenge you to master the combination of supernatural abilities, modifiable loadouts, and reactive environments while fighting through a deep and unpredictable world. Cole, tell us about Control.
I am going to have such a hard time talking about this game.
Yeah, this is going to be a tale of two reviews.
It really is, because first off, the story for this game is batshit insane. And the very beginning of it, you don't even know what's going on. You begin with a character named Jessie Faden, as she walks through the doors of the Federal Bureau of Control. And literally the shit has hit the fan. This building is supposed to be on lockdown, yet somehow she just strolls right in. And she has no fucking clue where she's going, but for some reason she just goes. Literally nothing from this point makes sense. And you are just following the whole game on intuition, which in a way is kind of presented as how Jessie is behaving as well. But you just kind of like find yourself walking down hallways in this, it looks like your classic federal building to begin with. And you're just like, to begin with, because that shit changes. Yeah. But, you're strolling around and you're looking at all these desks and everything seems just to like compel you to go wherever you end up at. That is good level design, first and foremost. That is some incredible level. If you know which way you're supposed to go without having big-ass arrows saying, bitch, go this way, that's good.
Yeah.
That doesn't stay that good, and I'll get to that in a minute. But in the beginning, we started off pretty solid. You just have no clue what the fuck else is going on about. I already lost my train of thought because I'm trying to... I know. I'm trying to, like, process in what order I want to talk about because there's just so much shit with this game.
This is a big one.
Bad shit, but I'm not really sure how the best way to approach it because again, it is so convoluted. It's such a weirdly laid out game that it's kind of hard to just flat out talk about.
Yeah.
As you continue to work your way through the Federal Bureau of Control, you will start to be attacked by enemies. They kind of vaporize out of nowhere in a flash of red. Fair warning if you have any photosensitivity issues, by the way. Don't touch this game. But but they vaporize out of nowhere. Eventually you learn that Jesse refers to them as the Hiss. And the name kind of catches on and they become the Hiss agents. I don't know how to explain how that happens without giving away a spoiler. Shit, because it's so weird from the beginning that as soon as you start to get any detail at all, it's immediately spoiler territory.
Yeah. That's why I said this is a tough one to talk about.
It is, and I'm sorry. I apologize for all the ums and stuff, but I'm processing through my notes and my brain. The brain is the scary part.
Let's talk about the atmosphere. I love the atmosphere of this game. It is such a creepy, I don't want to say spooky because that sounds kind of weird, but it's just such an odd, creepy sensation. Unsettling is a good word. Walking around this building.
Somewhere you're not supposed to be.
Yeah, and seeing all these floating bodies just hanging around you. As soon as you enter a room and you see red, you know shit's about to go down.
Right.
The use of color in this game is fantastic.
And the way the color, not even just the use of color, but the way that the building has been designed, it looks so incredibly realistic and so believable. Like, there's one room, for example, with red floors, red carpet. In rooms with the red carpet, if you look up, you can see where that red is reflecting on the ceiling tiles. And it looks natural. It looks like a photograph. My big complaint, not big, but as far as like appearances of that goes, I do want to say, again, we're going to run into Tale of two consoles here. On Xbox One S, Control Digital Foundry said that it runs at 720p. And on the Xbox One X, it's 1440p for resolution. There's a bit of a grain effect added. Tiles. My jaw popped when I tried to like enunciate it too.
Ceiling tiles.
Thank you. There's a bit of a grain effect to give it like an old-fashioned movie look. And because of the differences in the resolution on Xbox One S, it made the game look just grainy for no good reason and kind of escalated the what's a good word that I'm looking for?
I have no clue because it looked fucking gorgeous for me.
Yeah, because
I played on the X.
Like it escalated the appearance of it being upscaled by the 1S. Like it didn't look as good as it could. The whole thing was I looked at it the whole time and I'd have moments where I was like, wow, this is incredible. It looks so good. From the way the walls and the furniture reflect on the flooring to the doors to just the tiny little details. The most mundane things can be interacted with. But it just didn't quite look right. There was something off about it. And the terrible part is I didn't realize what was actually off about it until I watched the Digital Foundry video where it showed all 4 consoles. And then I was like, oh, my game was considerably more messed up than everybody else's. On the 1S. And I kind of had an idea because when I had spoke with Joe about this before we did the review, I had told him, I was like, I had a lot of glitches. I had issues. There were definitely some performance hiccups. And he was like, no, it's fine on mine. And I'm going, look, I'm telling you.
I didn't run into problems. I didn't run into frame drops. I didn't run into hiccups. I think one time I ran into an issue where it didn't detect my controller properly, so I had to turn it off and turn it back on, and then it worked fine. But I didn't run into any kind of the problems that you did, because I was playing on an X and you were playing on an S.
I had so many issues. We literally had both the best experience and the worst experience.
Yeah.
Playing this game. And it makes me sad because there's so much potential in Control. The story is insane. I have jokingly referred to it as Quantum Break's little sister about 1 million times at this point. And it's very true. But the performance issues I had were just maddening. I would have cutscenes. There was literally one cutscene where the frame would freeze, but the audio kept going. And I didn't know it wasn't supposed to be that way. I was watching it, and the first time I did it, I was like, and then I was like, no, but the audio's still going, so it's not frozen. And it kept doing it. And I was like, well, that's an odd design choice, but everything else about this game is an odd design choice too. So I'm on board. Let's go. And then I'm seeing videos of this cutscene from other people, and I'm like, wait a second.
That looks different.
Where's all their freezing? And that is basically the best explanation for my problems with this game. Like, I just had some of the most unusual hiccups that nobody else who didn't play on an S didn't have. Even the base PS4 didn't have as many issues as the 1S.
Because the base PS4 is still more powerful than the S.
Only a smidge. They're only at 900p for resolution. Thank you. So they're not that better. But it played better, admittedly. But I can't even pause and unpause the game without it having frame rate drops, micro freezes. I can't look at the map without frame rate drops. And I eventually gave up toward the end with one specific boss battle because there was just too much shit happening on the screen, and I would freeze out at the worst times, and then it would come back and I'd be dead, and I'd have like a sliver of light. One more gunshot would have killed the boss, but I die because the game froze.
Yeah.
And I just gave up. I was like, I can't keep fighting it anymore. I'm tired. And I wanted to get through it and enjoy it and see the whole thing, and I feel a little shortchanged in that. I want to know what fucking happens.
Yeah, I know the entire time I'm playing the game, I'm like, Cole's going to love this game. She's going to rave about this game. The atmosphere, the creepiness. She's going to love this game.
There's so much to love.
And then you just told me about all the technical issues you had, and I'm like, oh man, I didn't run into any of that. This is such a drastic difference in performance between the S and the X. And there's games like this that show you what a big difference a more powerful console makes.
Yeah. You get what you pay for.
Yeah, cheap bitch,
yeah. But it shouldn't be that big of a disparagement. I mean, Remedy has said they were shooting for 30 frames per second on console. Xbox One S has times where it's in the teens, like 10.
Yeah.
And that's how they published the game and launched it and let it roll when it's that bad. I don't know how ID at Xbox looked at it and went, yeah, it's good, go ahead. Like, somebody was asleep at the wheel over there. I just don't know what happened. And there was supposed to be a day one patch that was supposed to at least fix some of it. I have not got it. I have checked every single day. My Xbox auto updates at night, and I can check in the morning, and I can see on the recently installed list of what's updated recently. Control has not been on that list all week. I am desperate for it to update. I will happily go back and try it again, and it's just not possible for me to do it. Like I flat out would tell somebody, if you have an S, don't bother until it's patched.
Yeah.
If you have an original fat Xbox, don't touch it. You're gonna be fighting the game instead of fighting the enemies the whole time, and then you're gonna miss out because there's so much effort and detail put into this game. And I think to an extent that's part of what makes it harder for me to accept that it runs so poorly.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, once you've found additional, abilities and stuff, and yeah, okay, they're all the exact same abilities Jack Joyce had in Quantum Break. But once you find them, like, you can get into a huge epic battle in a room, and the room literally looks destroyed when you're done with it.
Yeah.
Like crumbles of concrete on the floor, furniture tossed. You can pick up a tiny little radio and fling it at an enemy.
Yep, and knock him the fuck out.
And and they've even gone in and put in the detail of the weight of the item that you're holding affects how much damage it does. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
If you pick up something small, it doesn't do as much. If you pick up something that's behind the enemy, you can hit them with it when you're drawing it to you and do damage and then fling it back at them and do more. That's so much attention to detail. So why didn't they put that kind of attention to the performance?
I don't know.
I'm sad.
Oh, man. Well, as it stands, $60 on Control. What do you think of it?
It depends on what console you have. If you have a base Xbox or an Xbox One S or a PS4, keep an eye out and watch for them to patch it. Hopefully patch it.
Yeah.
If you have an X, by all means, buy it. It's a blast, and you're gonna love it. Yeah, you might have a couple of snags where you'll see some frame rate drops, but not at all to the extent that everybody else on the cheaper consoles has. PS4 Pro, yeah, you could probably get away with a buy it there too. But honestly, Xbox One S or base PS4, just wait it out. I'm sorry. Awesome.
Well, moving on, we're going to see if this works. We're bringing in our friend Norg. Hopefully. We're calling him now. Norgo the jungle.
That's me.
We have George in person. George, how are you doing?
Fabo, how are you?
We're getting a little bit of an echo with you.
Oh, shit, not again. God damn it. Hang on. Fuck! Shit, I swear.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. How you doing, Cole?
I'm good. Yeah.
You excited that George is here?
I am excited.
Shit, hang on. Hold it.
Now we just need someone to drop bits.
Right?
Like, this is
live.
This is the perfect time for someone to drop bits.
I mean, after he comes back and his shit works.
Yeah, obviously. After shit works. And we just got 200 biddies from Root Beer is My Jam. Woo-hoo. So we're going to have to build that up for a second until George is ready to go here.
I'm going to take a nap while we wait for him.
Shit. Am I still echoing?
Yes.
God damn it.
I know the solution to this. Do you know the solution?
What?
He needs more sound dampening, so he could just surround himself with wet pancakes. And then it would just absorb the sound.
Pancakes!
I'm just gonna...
My shit is really jacked here.
So what is jacked particularly?
Well, if you want the entire story, part of the jackitude is related to... Oh, hang on. Wait, I might have figured it out. How about now? Am I still echoing?
I don't hear an echo, but you're really quiet.
That's because I was far away from the microphone. How am I now?
You sound fantastic.
Yeah.
God damn it. It's weird because I can barely hear you because the secondary audio interface that I'm using was dangling away from the desk when the burglars ripped through and stole all my shit. So, you guys sound fuzzy, but I can hear you. So we'll run with that.
That is good.
I mean,
George?
have you heard me? I sound fuzzy anyway.
You sound like a little boy who swears too much.
I know. Excuse me while I go puke in my anxiety bucket.
Here we go. I'm raising a cider just for you.
Guess what happened, George?
What happened?
Someone dropped 200 biddies.
Oh, 200 motherfucking pancakes. Oh, man. I need a cider after that. Oh, yum. You know, it's crazy. My voice is all kinds of thrashed right now because I'm reading the prequel trilogy to my oldest kid. And we just started The Phantom Menace. And so, like, before the first scene that you see in the movie, you get the segment of a pod race that takes place prior to that. So you get like the whole outline of Anakin totally wrecking the shit out of his pod racer. And then afterwards, Watto starts laying into him about how fucking awful a racer he is and he has to go repair the thing. And I try to be as authentic as possible in my recreations of the voices. And Watto's voice rips the shit out of my throat.
Damn. But guess what happened? No Time for Games just dropped 300 biddies.
Oh, 300 bits all over my fucking Vienna sausages. Ah! By the way, I'm eating sausages and they're delicious.
I've never heard anybody actually call them Vienna sausages. Here, everybody calls them Viennese weenies.
Viennese meaty?
Viennese weenies.
Viennese weenies.
Yep.
Viennese weenies. Good God. So, George, we brought you on. You have a game to talk about this week, huh?
I do. You want to go ahead and do the intro while I finish this sausage weenie?
Yes. Your
sausage weenie.
Viennese weenie.
Viennese weenie.
Viennese weenie.
Vietnamese weenies.
Yes, exactly. But next game to talk about tonight is called Gargamoth, developed by Galvanic Games and the Quantum Astrophysicists Guild, published by the Quantum Astrophysicists Guild, and that is such a fucking mouthful. Released
great.
Thank you. Released August 23rd on the Released August 23rd on the Switch for $9.99. Your only weapon is the level itself, a shifting battlefield with different hazards. Gargamoth is fast, relying on quick timing, but also the ability to read your opponent. Will they dodge your attack and send you flying into a spinning saw blade? Will they spend their attacks on a power-up, leaving them temporarily vulnerable? Will they anticipate your attack and stun you while you're recovering? George, do you have any answers?
So many answers, so little time. Well, it was a fun game, actually, for the most part. How do we want to do this? Let's start with the ugly. I'm just going to go right into it.
So your good, bad, ugly scale. Only. We gotta cover that you do a good, bad, and ugly scale.
Oh yeah. Good, bad, ugly. There's only one ugly point, which really pissed me off. And that is there is local multiplayer only. Eat a fucking dick. This isn't 1995. I don't want to go looking for a serial cable to play with the same game with a friend of mine at the other end of the room. So, having said that, it was a lot of fun. The music was pretty decent, if a little bit short. The actual gameplay itself is hilarious. Like, the whole idea that the level is the enemy and that you can't do any direct harm to your opponent. All you can do is either try to drive them into spikes or lasers or this asteroid-looking thing that kind of reminds me of the moon from Majora's Mask. All kinds of cool ways to force your opponent to die repetitively. It's great. The rounds are fast, sometimes a little too fast, but the rounds are fast. You have several options in terms of how long you want to make each round and how many victories until someone has arisen the gurgle broth. And then the bots are a nice addition, especially when you're only by yourself and you're just kind of practicing, or you are playing with like one other friend or something. It was fun. However, not coming up yet. All right. However, where it got a little squirrely, I would say, is it got kind of old kind of quick. And it was fun for a short while, but then it wears off. And then like the people I was playing it were thinking, well, let's do something else because this is starting to get old. Part of it. There's the rest of it. Oh, man.
Beautiful.
Oh, Vietnamese weenies. There you go.
How long did it take for it to start getting that old feeling?
That what?
How long did it take the old feeling? Yeah.
For me, it wasn't until we had played through each level at least once. For a couple of my friends who I dragged over to play through it, it probably was by about level 3 or 4 that they were saying, all right, this is getting old. The levels have a lot of cool variety. However, the concept really remains the same. And because the rounds are so fast, sometimes it can feel a little bit frustrating, especially if you are on the receiving end of all of the deaths every single time. It probably gets a little bit old. And part of that is because I'm an asshole and I'm really good at these kind of things at first. If we had continued playing, they would have found out the chinks in my armor and probably beaten the total tar out of me after not too long. But I think they got bored of it pretty quick. The music, again, like I said, was good, but it was short and kind of repetitive. And what was weird was when the thing goes when you're transitioning between menus or like between levels and stuff, the sound just cuts out and lets you stare at a screen that isn't doing anything for a little while. And you're just kind of sitting there watching it going, oh, hey, let's play now. So that was kind of weird. I couldn't decide if I wanted to put the fact that this was super chaotic in the good or the bad category. So I put it in both because I think for some people it'll be awesome. And for some people it'll be like, just come on. And the characters, other than their looks, really did not feel like there was much difference between them. And maybe there wasn't supposed to be. But I kind of expected that when you had like the super beefy, hunky beard dude versus the scrawny, like wayfish person, that there would be some kind of difference. Like one is slower, one is faster, one is more difficult to knock around, one is more likely to get punched in the dick by the asteroid and take it like a man. So no, there wasn't any real variety that we could tell when we were playing through it. And there were definitely not enough stages. That was a huge thing. Like we needed more stages. We needed more creative ways to make our friends kill each other. I would have loved to see just more variety in that. All in all, it was fun. It just wore off pretty quickly, at least in my arena out here. Your mileage may vary.
Yeah. Well, $10 on it. What is your official verdict?
Oh, $10. I would definitely say try it if you can. And definitely have more than just one other person there playing it with you. We found that it was most fun and most chaotic when there were 3+. How
many is max? Does it go up to 4 or more?
I believe it goes to 4. I only got to try it with 3.
Oh, 3's good.
You know what? I only have 3 sausages left in this canister.
Are you going to eat them?
Fucking God, you better believe it. Now I only have 2.
Nerd puts away the weenies with the quickness.
Dude, nobody guzzles down weenies faster than I do. I'm telling you.
That quote will never be taken out of context.
No, it won't. Not ever.
Now, we would need listeners for it to be taken out of context.
Right. Yeah. This is fun, though, because my wife and I did a whirlwind trip to Quebec City so that we could see a band from the UK playing. And we stopped at the birthplace of poutine, which is Ashton's. And what I don't remember from when I lived in Quebec City 20-something years ago was that now you can get them with, they say it's sausages, but for European, sausages are basically hot dogs when they put it on a fast food menu. So it was like having chopped up hot dogs. But in Quebec, it's saucisses, plural. So my wife and I have been referring to these as saucisses ever since then. I'm trying to figure out another nationality that starts with V, because we have Vienna sausages, we have Vietnamese weenies, and Vatican saucisses, Venetian saucisses. Fuck it, I don't know. They're delicious.
Venezuela?
Venezuelan saucisses. That's it. That's it right there.
You're welcome.
Hell yes. You're the best.
Yay.
Oh my God.
I almost can't even understand you because whenever the volume starts to go ever so slightly loud, it just sounds like
That's pretty much my normal voice anyway.
This audio interface is proper fucked. I think it got smashed when they jacked my shit, so I'm gonna have to replace that.
Damn.
But as long as you can hear me, that's the only thing that matters.
That is what matters, and you are coming through loud and clear.
Nice.
Delicious. But George, we do have to let you get going. We still have a lot more show to go. Thank you as always for coming on and doing your thing.
My distinct pleasure. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Love you guys. I wish I could talk to you more often, Cole. You're pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Come on for a full show sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
I will. One of these days, I will come on for a full show, and it'll scare the amount of food I will have to have with me to make it through a full show.
You know what I want to hear Norg do?
What's that?
You know what I want to hear you do? It's going to sound silly, but I do voices when I read Where the Wild Things Are to the kids, and like, I want to hear you read Where the Wild Things Are.
Ooh, I've never read Where the Wild Things Are in voices.
It's so much more fun.
Oh my God. I thought I was doing good when I was like trying to be Han Solo, Captain of the Millennium Falcon, just talking as deadpan as possible. Like, you got a lot of guts coming back after what you pulled. And my youngest, who is 4, she's like, you sound just like him. Yes. Thanks, 3PO. I would just stupid, awful impressions, like the kind of impressions you would expect from the auxiliary Star Wars stories that you got on Storybook Records back in the 80s. Like the Rebel Mission to Ord Mantell or Planet of the Hoojibs, which I still remember all the details to. And I knew as a kid they weren't the same voices, but they were close enough. Anyway, I'll let you guys go. Thanks for having me. Good times.
We love you, George. Have yourself a wonderful night.
Bye,
I will.
George.
You too. Peace out. Bye!
Wet pancakes.
Watch out for that tree.
Oh, my fuck pancakes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. Moving on. Next game. Next game. I don't know how to continue on after that.
I don't know, but Root Beer is My Jam had a good idea. We should do that shit as a charity stream.
What, just have George read books as a charity stream?
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
I think we could all take turns and just read random ass shit. That would be incredible. But you have to do the voices and all.
We'll have to get an entire crew together and we'll just read Where the Wild Things Are. So we could get a narrator and then everyone will have a distinct voice and role.
That's the problem. There's only like 2, the narrator and then Max and then the Wild Things and the mom.
Hey, that's enough people.
I don't even need the book anymore. I can recite it from memory. I've read it so much over the years.
Oh, my Lord.
Like, we used to go camping and number 1 wouldn't sleep. She didn't sleep, period. But she definitely wouldn't sleep while we were camping. And I would literally spend the night while we were camping, sitting in the tent, rocking her back and forth, repeating Where the Wild Things Are from memory for hours, because it was the only way she wouldn't scream and keep all the neighbors awake.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
You want to know what's really scary?
What?
We've only gone through 2 reviews.
I know, we got 5 more to go. I'm so tired.
Plus Mika.
Oh, plus Mika. Fucking Mika.
Actually, you got 6 to go.
Shit! Why do you hate me? I did 2. What did I only did control, didn't I?
Yeah, you only did control.
Fuck. Should have went and got a pop.
Next game to talk about is called Vambrace Cold Steel, developed by DevPresso Games and Head Up Games, published by Chorus Worldwide Games and Head Up Games, released August 28th on Xbox One, 29th on Switch and PS4 for $24.99. Vambrace Cold Steel is a roguelike fantasy adventure set amidst a frozen landscape. Plan your expeditions underground, then journey to the cursed city surface with your team of heroes, wield unique powers, avoid dangerous traps, brave strange encounters, and survive deadly combat. Cole, tell us about it.
So, I wrote way too damn much about this game in my notes. I'm gonna try to speedrun it and slim my thoughts down a little bit. Vambrace Cold Soul is absolutely gorgeous. It has this just incredible art style. There is a bit of like the manga look for the characters, and to an extent that kind of gets on my nerves. That's not my favorite art style, but it's executed very well, so I forgive it.
Yeah, I love the art style of the game. And by the way, I have to correct myself. It's Cold Soul. I apparently said Cold Steel.
Good job.
So, Vambrace Cold Soul. My bad.
I'm so tired already, I didn't even hear you say it. I was just looking at my notes like, how can I streamline this? So, your main character is, now the cat is sitting on my notes. Fuck me running.
1 a.m. Next game to talk about. See, we joke, but it's going to happen.
Oh, where did I even write her name down at?
So Vambrace, Cold Soul.
You play as a busty, blonde-haired heroine with one blue eye and one green eye who has mysteriously been, not mysteriously, she's been uncovered by a search party of adventurers. She's frozen, half dead, and it doesn't look good for her. They bring her back to the city of Ice and Air and get her thawed out, get her healed up a little bit. Aki says she's busty, so she lives. Basically, like somehow the more boob you have, the less armor you need, and you do fine. And that unfortunately, like I said, it has the manga look to it, and that holds true in this game. That every one of these ladies are stunk and like definitely have back problems.
Sweet. I'm in. Why didn't you tell me that before? I would have bought the game already.
I just assumed you already had it because of RNG. Not RNG, RPG. Oh my god, how am I going to get through the rest of this? I'm so fucked right now. Okay. Yeah, I just assumed you already had it because it's an RPG, to be fair.
Sadly, no. I don't have the money for it right now.
All right, shit. Well, you know what you're using your biddies for this month.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess I did not write down her name, her whole name. All I wrote down is Lyric, and that's what they refer to her as in the game, but it is her last name. Basically, her father has passed away, and she's inherited this mystical vambrace, a codex of information, and not a lot else. She's gone off on this adventure. She's found her way to Ice and Air. The adventurers found her half dead. They bring her back to life. She's all fine and dandy. Now it's her turn to join the resistance and set out to try to use what her father has, the information in the codex and the vambrace that her father has left for her, to try to help save the city of Ice and Air from the dome of frosty mist and ice that surrounds it. Anybody else touches that dome, they die immediately upon impact. No hope. So the fact that she has made it through that and has found her way into the city is a huge ordeal. So the actual gameplay has you, it kind of breaks down a few different ways. The majority of the game is 2D, and you go left to right, right to left. It's very flat. You can interact with some of the items, like if there's a chest, you can hold down a button. If there's a door, you can press up and go in it or whatever. But it's all very flat. However, once you leave a building and you're out in the open world, it goes to like a Legend of Zelda kind of map, and you have a tiny little chibi character body with a great big head, so you can see where you're actually going, and this way you can navigate the city. Once you are all set up, you hire some extra adventurers to go with you. You create a crew of companions using with the type of skills and abilities that you think will be helpful. You then set out on your adventure. From there, you will then go through a series of neighborhoods or districts, however you want to describe them. Either one of those would kind of work. Each one has its own set map, and this is where the roguelike dungeon crawling type of gameplay comes in. So you'll choose which area, which district you're going to go to first from the overhead map. Once you're in that district, you again start going, you are taken back to the 2D plane kind of layout of left to right movement. You can then go through a series of different rooms. Some rooms will have combat, some rooms will have treasure, some might have a merchant. It's very cut and dry dungeon crawler from that point. The game does need you to use a lot of inventory management, and it doesn't. It's weird because it's so detailed in how it explains literally every other aspect of the game. If you touch your backpack, it's going to give you a 5-page tutorial on how to use your backpack. But once you actually start collecting items from combat or finding it in loot chests, it does not tell you jack shit.
Nice.
I had gone out on 4 or 5 different runs before I learned that I could craft my own health patches and didn't have to buy them from the damn snarky ass ghosts every time. I was not amused. Ideally, you want to get all the way through all of the districts, and I wish I could tell you like how many there were and stuff. I can't because this game is fucking hard. There are 2 difficulties. One is basically standard, and the other one is you're a dumbass for clicking this. I don't remember what the actual name of the other difficulty. I think it was Cold Soul or something like that. And I was like, no, I'm good. I don't need that
Destroyed.
kind of negativity. Yeah.
I don't need that kind of negativity.
I'm okay with this turn of events.
I don't need that drama in my life.
Yeah. I got daughters, so I'm fine. I'm full up on drama. And even still, I thought I was doing incredibly well until I realized that I was only like the first time. I was like, yeah, I've gone through all these rooms. I bet I'm close to a boss or something soon. And it's like, no, fuck you, go to another district. I'm like, God damn. And then I'm just like, if I keep going, everybody's going to die. There is one benefit, despite all the difficulty. You can just press the start button and immediately teleport your whole crew back to the city whenever you're getting swapped. The downside is you lose the progress of your expedition. So the next time you go out, you're all the way back at 0 all over again. So again, fucking brutally hard. Because the only other way to heal up, you cannot heal while you're in battle, in combat. You cannot heal while you're just walking around a room after you've cleared everything out. You have to find a campfire and stop and rest, and then use your food or your medicine or whatever you've got to heal you up. Then there's if you dawdle in a district too long, the spooks will come after you. And then you're at a point where you're not even just trying to get to the end, but you're trying to get to the end before they fuck your face off. Like it gives you a little, it calls it a Geist meter. And it gradually fills up with green, and when it gets to the top, that's basically your fucked zone. And it tells you as much without just using the F-bomb. And like the first time that meter got close to full, I was like, bitch, I'm gone. I don't even want to know what happens if it catches me. And I teleported out of there because I was scared. So for all I know, maybe it could have been a nice ghost who was going to help me along, but I wasn't going to risk it because I don't think that happens in a game that prides itself on being fucking hard.
Oh, man. Well, overall, $25 on it. What do you think?
I think if you are into hardcore roguelites and you are not a scared bitch like me, you should buy it. But I don't think this is a good starting point for somebody to get into roguelites and RPGs. This is definitely for the niche of who's already like, and I like to think I'm pretty hardcore into roguelites, and this one still just made me go, maybe I'm not as good at these as I thought I was.
This is for seasoned roguelikers.
Yeah. You can beat the story goes on. You're not beating this, though. Maybe if you could beat the Binding of Isaac. Maybe. And I don't just mean beat Mom, because I beat Mom. But if you haven't, like, 1K'd Binding of Isaac, maybe don't touch this.
All right. Well, next game to talk about is called Vigor, developed and published by Bohemia Interactive. It released August 19th on Xbox One as a free-to-play game with in-game purchases. 1991, the nuclear war is over. Central Europe is devastated. Norway has become the last stand. You stand as a nameless outlander, but who will you become? No time for uncertainty. Turn a shelter into your home. Fight, run, or hide. Take risks, claim rewards. Survive this cutthroat experience. Cole, tell us about Vigor.
Can I be perfectly honest?
Sure, that's what our job is.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of hope when it comes to free-to-play games.
Really?
I really don't. Like, Fortnite ruined me. And I just automatically assume if it's free-to-play, there's probably something amiss.
Yeah.
Like, either you're not going to be able to enjoy it without plunking down, hundreds of dollars in a pay-to-win bullshit, or that it's going to be buggy as balls, or that it's just like very bare bones. Like, I just don't have a lot of hope. And you'd think Apex Legends would have broke me from that, but they did follow the microtransaction thing to the balls. So
I was going to say Gears of War is a pretty good one.
I haven't played that
not
one.
Gears of War, Gems of War. What the hell am I saying? Gems of War.
I played like
Gears of War is a good free to play.
Yeah. Well, I thought you meant the app that just came out.
Gears Pop, yeah.
Pop. But
that's pay to win.
Yeah. I just generally don't have good hopes when it comes to free to play. Vigor might have changed my mind.
Oh, really?
And I didn't think initially it was going to do it because very, very out of the gate, you notice all the opportunities for microtransactions. And yet at the same time, you can totally get by without them if you just determined. And a little determination in this game goes a long way. So the premise is that there was a nuclear war in Norway in 1991. And the survivors are known as Outlanders. It's a third-person looter shooter. So a little bit of division there for me.
So you already love the game.
I'm already halfway interested just on that premise. Oddly enough, I prefer first person, but third is okay too. But looter shooter, you got my attention. And then it's a little bit battle royale, but not to the point that you're like, oh god, it's another battle royale. Because you can totally go into this game and not see another person. You get out of it what you want to put into it. And I'll explain that in a second. When you begin, it's basically just a short tutorial explaining to you that, you're in a potential radiation zone and that you've got to loot items, and a voice over a radio helps tell you how to find a shelter. Once you make it to your shelter, by this point, you know how to shoot a gun and all the basic shit, which anybody who's ever played a third-person looter shooter already knows how to do this stuff. It's not overwhelmingly annoying, though, how it brings in the tutorial aspect, because sometimes they can dumb it down to the point that you're just annoyed.
Yeah.
And Vigor doesn't do that. I give him credit for that, even as somebody who's well beyond professional status at playing looter shooters. I'm like, yeah, okay, I don't mind that I have to run this tutorial real quick. It's fine.
Sure, I'll learn things. Come on, game, bring it.
Yeah, to go ahead and tell me how to pull the trigger, it's fine. I'm sure somebody out there doesn't know at this point.
Oh, I pull the trigger to shoot? Wow.
What is this button concept? How do you press X to pick things up? I'm sure there's someone. I'm sure there's someone. Once you get past that tutorial phase, then you are at your shelter, and this is basically your hub for the entirety of the game. You get to upgrade it. You get to harvest materials and resources so that you can craft better weapons. You can do your crafting here. This is your hub world. The really cool part is that you can customize it and you upgrade it on at your own discretion. So the things that you find more useful, you can put your resources toward first.
That's good.
There is a tab that says you can literally customize your cabin, but it just says coming soon. So that's not actually there yet. I think it'll be pretty cool if they add in some options to actually customize. As it is, it looks very post-apocalyptic. It's run down, and
Well, I would assume a post-war scenario to look kind of run down. Yeah,
I mean, there's grit and grime and gunk everywhere, and things are broken, and one of your biggest upgrades is that you can put tarps over it to protect you from the radiation. And I don't know how much protection tarps can provide, but here we are. But once you've, set up your crafting and decided how you're going to approach the game, you've got your weapons, you also need more materials to do more crafting. The only way to get these materials is to go out on expeditions. There are 6 to choose from, and the way that you choose them is you go to a map that's hanging in your quote unquote living room. what you could closely resemble a living room out of in a post-apocalypse. But there's a map hanging on the wall, and you just simply walk up to it, press X, and then it gives you 6 different levels that you can choose from for these little mini expeditions. So in a way, it gives you 6 different maps to work with. They're incredibly open. They remind me a lot of Sandhawk. If you've played that map on PUBG.
No, come on.
I know you haven't, yeah. But if somebody listening has, Lord knows you haven't. But if you can imagine, about the size of Sandhawk, it's a 4x4 grid as in battle royale terms. They're roughly the same size as that. There's houses and buildings and sheds littered everywhere, and you can loot and find anything from wood, nails to ammunition, better weapons, but you're limited to how much you can take with you. You can only carry so much in your backpack, and the heavier your backpack is, the slower you run. When you're on these expeditions, you are not alone. You're not the only Outlander out there. There's anywhere from 1 or 2 other players to, I think it was 10 was the max that I saw. So not quite battle royale level of 100 people crammed into a map, but you have the potential to avoid people. Yeah. There's plenty enough room, but there's also the potential to run into people, and there's the potential to be assholes or to leave them alone.
Yeah.
Most people in a PvP scenario are going to be assholes. I'm just going to go ahead and point that out. And I am not immune to that. I played several matches without finding anybody. And I was like, watch me get my shit and go. And I was very happy with that turn of events because I was trying to build up my crafting.
Yeah.
And I just needed the materials. There is a airdrop that will come in each match. You have, if you can get to the control tower, you can change where that airdrop is coming. So if you're brave enough to potentially put yourself where somebody might find you because they want to change that airdrop too, if you're confident enough you can kill them because you're gonna have to, then make that trek and try to get to that air tower and control it where that drop is coming so that it's closest to you and you get the better gear.
Yeah.
I was perfectly happy not even trying to get the airdrops. I was like, fuck this, watch me, I'm crafting shit, I'm fine. But there was one instance where I ran into somebody, and for the first time ever, I had the advantage that this dude had no idea I was behind him. None. So there's no time limit that you can tell in the game, but eventually the comms voice will tell you that there's a radiation ring coming, and you need to get to an exit before that radiation gets your ass. So this is again a battle royale element of like the storm closing in and forcing people. So, but rather than like forcing them into a random small circular area, it forces you to run towards exits. You can exit anytime. You don't have to stay until that radiation ring comes. If you're looking for a certain type of material, you run in, you get it, you get the fuck out. The game is completely fine with that.
That works.
You can take your shit and go home whenever you want. Well, the radiation ring was coming, and another guy was trying to take his shit and go home. And so was I. And he was dead in front of me, and he had no idea I was there. And he's just hoofing it. And I followed him for like 100 yards or so in game with him having no idea I was there. And then he climbed up a ladder. And that's a dumb thing to do when you're not sure if you're alone.
Yeah.
And so I shot him off the ladder and killed him and took his shit. And then I got out. I had so many free upgrades.
You're an asshole.
It was hilarious. He was climbing up that like, and he was almost to the top of it. And I just took a shotgun and boom.
Oh my God.
To the ground.
So the game sounds really, really cool. The question is it worth spending money on with the in-game purchases? Like, what can you get with the in-game purchases?
The code that we were given for in-game purchases added extra customization, like clothing items, and that was actually kind of cool because every time you start up the match, like you can see the Outlander that everybody has created, and there's only 9 to start with anyway. Like as far as body models go, 6 of them are dudes, 3 are female. The only option is a female with black hair, an Asian female with black hair, and a black female with black hair. And it was like, okay, well,
that's diverse.
Yeah, at least they had women, but I don't understand how you come up with 6 male body types and only 3 female. At least give us some extra hair colors.
Yeah.
Shit. But the funny thing is when it would come up and it would show the Outlanders who were going to be in the match, literally everybody but me looked identical.
Oh God.
Because they only had the custom, the one outfit that it starts you with. And so I'm like the only one sitting there rocking a red vest and shit. And I'm like, yeah, I look good. Fuck you guys. I'm getting out of here.
So you'll stand out.
Yeah. I don't know if it was just enough to be the only female in the lobby. I also had to be the only one wearing bright red.
Nice.
But to be fair, there were red barns and stuff. So if I needed to hide, I was going to blend in a little bit.
Yeah, just stand by a barn. You're good.
Then the big dummies wearing neon green in a fucking post-apocalyptic wasteland. Although it didn't help much on the snow map.
Yeah, I was going to say, bright red on a snow map doesn't sound that good.
No, I was impressed too. Like I said, there's 6 different expeditions that you can go on, and they're all different. They're all vastly different, and I was really impressed that they had that much variety for the maps. And given that you spawn in somewhere different every time, and the exits are different, and it's a lot of replay without feeling like you've memorized everything, and it would take you a while to really learn the ins and outs of all these maps.
No. Well, as a free-to-play game, is Vigor worth checking out?
Yeah, I think it is. I'm looking forward to playing more. I'm gonna make Studa install it. I don't know how that'll work. I made him install Monster Hunter a couple weeks ago, and he still ain't played it with me. But we'll see what we can do.
I'll have to play Vigor with you sometime too.
Yeah, because you can play alone, or you can play as a team of 2. You can't have a bigger team, but you can play as a team of 2.
Well,
so yeah,
me and you we'll go cruising through the wasteland and murdering people.
Nice. I want to sneak up on people.
Nice. Shifting gears dramatically, the next game to talk about is called Newt 1, developed by Devin Ari, published by Whitethorn Digital, released August 30th on Xbox One, Switch, PC, and PS4 for $9.99. A non-violent musical 3D platformer. The land of groovy hue was once bursting with music and color until the great slumber. Take control of a new tone in this musical land. Awakening the sleeping silent world is Newt's rite of passage. Restore music, life, and color to your world. Cole, tell us about Newt 1.
I'd like to go into some exuberant detail about the game. That's really the long and short of it. It's a 3D platformer, and the cutscenes. The cutscenes are a little on the generic side. You just have Newt on one side of the screen, and excuse me, I've got the hiccups.
Proud of you.
That come out of nowhere. You have Newt on one side of the screen and his buddy Kuro on the other. And Kuro kind of just helps guide you and tells you what you can and can't do. Although it doesn't really take a rocket scientist to play this game. It's very much so meant to be all age friendly. That doesn't mean it can't get difficult. If you're really wanting to push yourself and try to get all of the awards for each level and all the collectibles and get 100%, you're gonna spend some time on it.
Oh yeah.
But as far as just casually playing it, a young kid, even as young as 3 or so, as long as they get hold of controller, could probably manage to play this to some extent. Even though it's a platformer, there's no punishment for falling off. There's no punishment. There's no death. You just get magically teleported right back to where you were, so that you can try again. It doesn't keep a death count. It's just nothing to fuss at you for fucking up.
Yeah, the only thing is you don't get a star for beating the level without falling. Right. Which big
and again,
deal.
For kids or anything playing, that's not going to be something that they're concerned about anyway. That's more of if you're an achievement junkie and you want to get all the achievements.
So what do you do in levels?
You literally just hop from one gray monochromatic platform to the next, but as you hop from platform to platform and make your way toward the exit, every platform or flower or tree or item that you touch sparks with color.
So it's like the Blob in that sense, where you're trying to touch everything to bring color to the world.
I never played the Blob, but yes,
really?
That's the concept.
Oh, you should play the Blob. If you enjoyed Newt 1, you would love the Blob.
Really?
Yes.
But that is the concept. Everything is dark and drab and grayscale, and you've just got to light everything back up. You can beat the level without hitting everything. again, if you're trying to get all of the accolades for each level, then you're going to want to do that. But otherwise, just casually go in, sit back, enjoy yourself, and hop around. There are music notes that you can collect, and for every 50 music notes, you unlock a new outfit. So it's not a requirement to play it. Like, you could beat the whole game and miss 95% of the stuff in it. Yeah. It's really meant to just be casual and relaxing and fun. And
it is. It's a really enjoyable game.
Yeah, number 3, the whole time I was playing, she's like, I can't wait for the weekend. I'm going to install this on our Xbox. So I know what she's doing with her Labor Day weekend.
Nice.
And then she's going to be like the one that goes all, my 6-year-old is going to be the one that goes all in on trying to like get the achievements and stuff, because she was fussing at me whenever I'd fall or start over. And I'm like, okay, well, it's not as easy as I can do it. All right, fine.
I will say it's not all good. I did have one gripe with the game. I wish the camera was more movable. I would love to have an above view camera for when you're trying to do some of the tricky 3D platforming, because again, this is a 3D platformer. The camera is not going to be perfect.
Cameras are what they are. I thought for that fact that the camera was actually pretty good.
It was pretty good. I just wish I could move it, like when I'm trying to make precision jumps, I wish I could put the camera above me so I could see where I'm jumping and where I'm landing, instead of trying to rely on a shadow that might not always show up clear enough for me to tell where I am.
Yeah. There are definitely some harder ones too. There's one level in the second area where I didn't think I was ever going to get out of it, because you have to use the drums to turn these hoops into trampolines. And if you don't time it right, then you just fall through them and die. And like, there's one where you have to jump onto the trampoline, onto another trampoline. So as you hit the first one, you have to already be building the drums back up to catch the second one before you hit it. And then you've got to leap again, and like the distance from that trampoline to that exit is just insane. And I bet I spent a good 35-45 minutes easy just constantly trying to get over that.
Jeez.
Because it was such a frustrating one. And it was kind of just like an exclusive area though, and I didn't have that much trouble anywhere else. So I don't know if maybe like there's something a little off, and that one trampoline should be just a little closer to that last platform.
Maybe.
Or if I was just really that bad.
And little column A, little column B.
Probably. Very much so, probably.
But $10 on Newt 1. What do you think of this one?
I give it a definite try. I thought it played well, and I think it's good for all ages. It's just that if you are trying to get all those accolades, it can be a little more difficult than you would expect. And it might not be for everybody if they're trying to go for that completion. 'Cause you might pull your hair out over some of those levels.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pulling out your hair is always fun.
Yeah, I mean, when you're trying to market a game as being relaxing and chill, and then you have achievements that require you not to die on any of the levels, yeah, there's going to be some hair pulling. It's not as chill as it may seem.
Oh, well. Next game to talk about is called Headspun, developed by Superstring, published by Wales Interactive. It released August 28th on Xbox One for $11.99. Headspun is an FMV adventure hybrid set in Cortex, the world of Theo Kavinsky's Broken Brain, a game about recovery, discovery, and the ongoing battle between logic and emotion. Cole, what is Headspun?
Headspun is a game that is so incredible in concept, and then just doesn't really pull off the execution quite right. So, let me lay this out here. Spoiler alert, but this is both my most loved game of the week and my most hated.
Interesting.
The concept is incredible. You play as Ted, who is basically the responsible half of the brain for a character named Theo. Everything that you see takes place inside Theo's brain. And his cortex is basically functioning like a business. So after Theo is in an accident, he wakes up with amnesia. And that means Ted has also been knocked out and doesn't quite have the memory that he should have. He doesn't remember what happened that night, so Theo doesn't remember what happened that night. Ted is only part of Theo's brain, though, and there's also another half, and that's Teddy. Teddy is the more rebellious, creative side of Theo, and so him and Ted are kind of at each other's throats. The part of the game that plays out inside of Theo's brain is all digitally illustrated. It's incredibly beautiful. It's really creative the way that they've taken the segments of the brain and made them function like a traditional corporation, if you will. Mm-hmm. In that, you know, in order to have more brain cells, you have to hire outside employees, and they all look like Ted and Teddy because brain cells. They're just duplicated. And so when you are in the control room, you can wake Theo up by pressing Y. And then there's actually an FMV screen in the middle of the control room where Ted and Teddy are basically watching the real world through Theo's eyes. So in that FMV screen, you have little videos throughout the day of what's happening around Theo. So his doctor will come in and talk to him about his amnesia. The police will come and talk to him about the accident. He'll have visitors from friends. And you're trying to piece together what was going on the day of the accident while also having to rebuild the cortex so that, Theo can leave the hospital and function as a human again. Yeah. When you begin, he's only at I think it's 3% brain function. And so the game actually will have you earn neuro points by doing mundane things. But now this is how it adds in mini games to the FMV element. So you'll have, in the beginning, you can only sleep, rest for an hour, or read a book. But everything that you do is limited by how stressed out Theo gets. So you may only be able to read a book for, 30 or 60 seconds before he gets stressed out and you can't do it. And the way it has you do reading a book is a bar will go left to right to left, like he's scanning pages. And you can actually see in the FMV finder, first person perspective of somebody holding a book and flipping through the pages. And then you've got to press the A button whenever the meter is on the brain icon in the middle. You get neuro points for that kind of concentration. And then you also get them passively just because he exists. Your brain has to function at least a little bit, whether you're doing well or not.
Yeah.
So allegedly, there's some people who can question that. As you continue to progress and you can improve, you can raise his stress threshold by lowering the amount of stress that he has from other outside factors so that he doesn't get stressed as fast. You can play the mini games longer. You can unlock extra mini games like crossword puzzles, actual weightlifting exercises so that he doesn't get atrophy from laying in the bed, and even meditation. Just all kinds of different ways to build up his neuro points. Then you have to use those neuro points to add in extra employees and repair the different centers of the brain. So, the dream theater, the Imaginarium, you have to go to HR to buy your upgrades. HR serves as your store. So that's where you hire your extra employees. You can give them bonuses so they work a little faster. And then you can buy other additional items like if you're a shithead to Teddy, you can buy him a gift and try to make up for it.
So this is basically a game of multiple games. There's an FMV game, there's an adventure game, there's a sim game, there's mini games.
Right.
It's just a whole bunch of everything.
It's such a hybrid, and yet it's put together so well. Like, everything seems to make sense in context. Then I realize that as I'm sitting here regurgitating, all these different elements of it, it sounds disjointed, but in concept, in actual play, it works. It really works well, except when it doesn't, because this is where I hated the game. The menus just do not fucking work. I don't know what happened here, but Headspun suffers from some insane glitchiness. And I say that even after having reviewed Control this week.
Yeah.
On a 1S. I had them both, and they both brought me to tears this week. Just in general frustration because I was enjoying myself and couldn't enjoy myself. Like, the game was literally cock blocking me, and I don't even have a cock.
So what was broken about it?
In a lot of instances, you would try to navigate through the menus. Now, the menus are kind of hard to just explain without being able to show. But it would come up and have a generic question. Like, you would choose a dialogue option. But no matter where you moved your controller to, it wouldn't go anywhere. It would just stay on a default. And then you'd have to shut the whole game down, launch it back up, and start the whole day over because it only saved from day to day. You'd have to start the whole day over in order to hope that this time, and it was so hit or miss. Like, the menu would work one time and not the next. Or you would go in and start the day, you'd wake Theo up, and then rather than, as soon as you would hit RB or LB to navigate through your FMV screen tabs, they would just freeze up.
Ugh.
And then it would unfreeze, but you would have like the layover for the mini games on top of the FMV video screen, which then also had parts of the financial manager on it. And you can't tell anything because it's trying to put all three screens into one. The worst one was once I actually got to the point where you can have Theo leave the hospital. It glitched and there was no option to press yes, I want to leave, or no, I want to keep playing. Like, you can decide, okay, I'm if you're not at like 100% brain function, you can keep him in the hospital and keep playing to build that up. But there was literally no cursor at all. Like, the options were there, yes or no, but you couldn't choose between them. Thankfully, that one got patched, and I only had to wait 24 hours for that one to come.
That's good.
But the rest of it is still just broken. Even after they patched that, the next morning I saw the patch come in, I downloaded it, and I was able to choose, and continue going because I wanted to get the achievement for 100% brain function. And I was able to keep going, but it just, I'm trying to at the same time talk about that part, but also think about how I'm going to approach the next glitch without giving away a spoiler. I'm sorry, my brain was trying to interject two different things there.
Your head spun too.
Oh my god, my own Ted and Teddy are at war right now. But it would just, everything else was still glitchy, even though that one thing got fixed. One of the other big glitches that I had is there's this section, it's story related, where you have to go into the Dream Theater to watch this FMV segment. And it's a big turning point of the game where like a lot of the details comes out, the plot twist gets laid out in front of you. Everything is like hedging on this moment, but mine was glitched. And like I go into the Dream Theater to start this segment and I get to see maybe 30 seconds of the FMV clip, and then it would just freeze. There was still movement and there was still audio, and I could come and go, but it wouldn't kick over into the next part of the video, and the people that I needed to speak to weren't where they needed to be, and so it couldn't progress. And eventually, I actually had to uninstall the game and reinstall it just to get that part to work.
Oh boy.
And I don't know if that's even what did it or if it was just dumb luck, because so much of the game was just shut it down, try it tomorrow, maybe it'll work then. And it makes me really sad because the story and the narrative in this game is just insane. It's so good, and it's emotional, and it grips you, and you want to see it through, but at the same time, it's just like the game is trying to fight you on whether or not it's going to let you finish it.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I played this one a bit myself, and it didn't click with me the way it clicked with you. I'm just not into the whole management sim stuff that's in the game, and it kind of lost me there. Yeah. It just didn't hold my interest, but I'm glad that you enjoyed it despite all the glitchiness and problems with it. But $12 on it, what do you think?
Can I give it a wait until it's patched?
I guess so.
It's so good, and it's just so broken. And I don't want to say deny it. I don't want people to skip on such an incredible story, but I can't recommend it full stop given the state it's in either. So I'm really stuck on where to actually place this on the board. And I'm sad about it.
Well, I guess when in doubt, give it a try it.
Okay. We'll go for a try it, but know that it's broken and maybe wait till they patch it.
And when it's patched, you'd probably get a buy it.
And when it's patched, I would absolutely give it a buy it without a hesitation.
Nice. All right. Well, next game to talk about is called Whipsy and the Lost Atlas, developed by Daniel A. Ramirez, published by Blowfish Studios. It released August 27th on Xbox One, Switch, PC, and PS4 for $5.99. Jump and whip your way through this epic adventure to help Whipsy solve the mystery of the Lost Atlas in this retro-inspired action platformer. Cole, tell us about it.
So this is basically a Kirby's Dream Land clone. That's the long and
Carnage
short of it.
says you mean Kirby.
Yeah, that's what I said. Oh, that's what he meant to you. Yeah, because it's. I didn't realize anybody was even in chat. I wasn't looking.
Oh, good for you for paying attention to our audience.
I'm the best. I told you I'm a zombie today.
That means you didn't see Doc Havoc making fun of you for saying 1995 earlier.
Did I say 19? I don't even remember saying that. I said 1991.
Or
Thank
whatever.
you.
Whatever. Close enough.
95. Oh,
Close
God.
Enough. Anyway, Whipsy and the Lost Atlas.
Whipsy. It is basically a Kirby clone. You play as a young boy who is magically transported to a new world via a book, and he becomes a little pink bulbous wonder named Whipsy. And you're going to basically do Kirby-style platforming, killing of enemies. You don't get to suck them up like Kirby does, though. That's
no, you just got to whip them.
You get to whip them. You get to whip them into shape, and then get from point A to point B in each level. And it's very simple, but it's surprisingly difficult. There's only 2 buttons, and that's jump and hit things with your whip, which is X. But you do have the ability, like if you double jump, then the whip turns into like a helicopter that, lets you drift down a little slower. You can go a little farther, or you can catch a ring. These rings just magically float in the middle of the world. I don't know why anybody doesn't. I don't know though. The pink bulbous dude should be weird too, but whatever. The idea is you should be able to just like jump and press X and catch the ring and swing. And I don't know if you played this one or not, but for the life of me, I cannot get that fucking swing mechanic to work.
Really?
I cannot do it. I don't know I get it maybe 1 out of every 7 to 10 attempts. Wow,
I had no problem getting the whip swing to work.
I can't do it.
You just jump and then you whip the ring and then you swing. It's magic.
In theory. Like, and the first time I did it and it worked, I was like, fuck yeah, I've got it. I understand now. No. No, I don't.
Okay, so you don't know how to swing. What else can you do?
Well, the problem with swinging is that it's a big part of the game. You don't make it far. There's only 5 levels. And I didn't count. There's maybe, 6 or 7 screens to each level. I didn't count
some of them could be pretty big.
Yeah, some of them are a little bigger. But, on average, I'd say 6 to 10-ish. But that's where I was going with that.
You couldn't whip swing, so
I couldn't whip swing, and if you can't whip swing, you're not getting fucking anywhere. Because there's one level in chapter 2 that totally just requires you to whip swing over this large area, and if you fall, you die, and it's a terrible tragedy, and you lose your life, and you get started at the door and do it again where you fall and you die, and if you can't do it but once every 7 to 10 times, that means there's only once in every 7 to 10 times you're getting to the boss. And that's bad for me.
Yeah.
There are no boss checkpoints either. So if you get fucked trying to get to before you get to the boss, and then you're so proud of yourself because you finally make it to the boss, and then the boss kills you, and you only had like one dumb hit left because you died a whole bunch trying to swing to get there.
Yeah.
Then you got to do it all over again. And then you're back to 1 out of 7 to 10 times of actually getting there.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you're really at like 2 out of 47 attempts to get there. And then you're just like, why is this game so fucking hard?
This is a tough game. This was deceptively difficult. The spikes in this game kill you in one hit, and I hate them. They have,
like, the hitbox on them is weird, too.
It seems like it's so big. It seems like the spikes are so tiny, but you get anywhere even near them and you're dead.
Yeah. And there are some areas where you are the area between the spikes that you need to navigate super fucking tiny, and they will get you every time.
Yeah.
They don't care. And they're an instant death. Whereas everything else is just like, it takes a point, you have several hit points. And you have 5 lives to start with, and I think it was 5. And you get 100 coins, you get another life. So, you can, in theory, you should be able to stay alive through most shit. Those spikes are one hit, phew, fuck you, you're dead. Just like falling when you miss the swing. So the spikes were your swing, is what you're trying to say.
Pretty much. The spikes were dicks in this game.
The spikes. If the spikes actually looked like dicks, I'd be happier.
Oh, God.
And it would also explain their hitboxes.
Yeah, I wish the game had unlimited lives. I know that's a cheap request to ask for, but it's 2019. I thought we were past having limited lives in a game and then having to start the level over from the very beginning if you die 5 times in a level.
I just want to point out that we bitched about Dolings not having a boss checkpoint, and they added it.
Yeah.
So, Whipsy devs, be like Dolings. Give us a boss checkpoint.
Add a checkpoint that if we run out of lives, we still start at the boss.
Please and thank you.
Thank you. But,
yeah.
Go ahead. No, you.
God damn it. Mika was saying that Cassie, that's Indie Gamer Chick, right? That she was mad about the exact same thing. It just doesn't make sense to me to make the game difficult for the sake of being difficult. Like, if you look at it, you go, okay, I can do this. The monsters aren't that convoluted. If the swing mechanic wasn't a bitch, it would be fine. But in reality, it looks like a game that you should just be able to easily go through and enjoy yourself and relax. But you die so nonsensically because of those weird hitboxes. And because the swing mechanic doesn't always fucking work no matter what Joe says. And then
I didn't have a problem with the swing.
And then
user error.
Have to constantly start over because you get to the boss and you've only got 1 life or 3 hits left, and then you do it all over again. That's forced replay, and it takes the fun out of it.
No. But
sacrifice difficulty for fun.
Yes.
Please.
But $5.99 on Whipsy, what do you think?
I do give it a try. I think it plays well, and I'm very well aware that the whole swing thing is just on me.
Yeah.
But that's just a mechanic that for whatever, I can't time it properly. But there is room for improvement, especially with like the difficulty and the boss checkpoints and some of those hitboxes. They need slimmed down a little bit. You're welcome to send us a message and tell us that the hitboxes are fucking fine, because that's what the Duel Links guy did too. But our consensus is that the hitbox fucking sucks.
On the spikes, yes.
Yeah, on the spikes. Everything else seems fine, but the spikes blow. And boss checkpoints would be a good thing.
Yeah. I would go ahead and I think this one's cheap enough to give it a fuck it. Why not? I think it's only $6. It's fun. It's cute. It's enjoyable. Why not? Just pick it up.
It's short. It's not something that, you're going to be like locked into for weeks. It's something that you can pick up and easily play and just blow through it. And, if you don't suck at swinging, then you're going to be done with it in probably a couple hours and be fine with it. And you got your $6 worth.
All right. Well, let's see if Dark Mika's ready to come in, because she's got 2 games to talk about, and I figure we would bring her in. She said she has a doctor's appointment, so we'll take care of her before we got one last game to preview. Okay. But Dark Mika, it sounds like you are here, given the background noise.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Are you ready to do your games?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm ready. Whenever.
How are you doing?
So. I could be better. I am not in good shape right now. Haven't had enough calories in the past few days to really function. So it's my typical, really. When you survive off of less than 500 calories a day, you're doing something very wrong. So
yeah, you should eat some cookies or something.
Yeah, today I'm having Taco Bell, so I'm fixing my no-calorie issue. Problem was, on Wednesday I mowed my lawn. It took me a few hours because I mowed, weed-eated, and then swept everything up. And it's so hot, I dehydrated, and I've just been feeling like crap since then. And then yesterday I went to the fucking gym, and that didn't fucking help. And today I'm going to the gym, and that's not gonna fucking help.
Drink more water.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tea.
Stay
Start
hydrated.
drinking tea.
Ugh. I don't have enough sugar to make tea taste good. Fuck that.
I have to use the fake sugar. I'm not allowed to have real sugar anymore.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
There's a whole lot of acclamation. I'm not happy about it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you ready to keep going on with the show?
Yeah.
All right. Well, the next game to talk about is called Agent A, A Puzzle in Disguise, developed and published by Yak & Company, released August 29th on Xbox One for $14.99. A suave secret agent adventure game. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to infiltrate the enemy spy Ruby LaRouge's secret hideaway and put a stop to her evil plans. Dark Mika, tell us about Agent A.
Okay, so it's a puzzle game. It's kind of like an Escape the Room type puzzle game that everyone's probably played flash games of that in the past. It's very much like one of those, except for typically you're trying to get into a place instead of out of it. Typically, not always. So if you like those kinds of games, it's really good. It's pretty simple, and you play as obviously Agent A. That's the only name you're given for him, and you're hunting Ruby LaRouge, who I will point out has an amazing voice actress. I love that voice. It is amazing. But Agent A and Ruby are both kind of... how to say this? If anyone here has watched Megamind, it's an animated movie from forever ago.
Yep.
Both of them are kind of like both Metro Man and Megamind from it. They're competent, but not really competent. And they just have that air of a little just a little hint of smug arrogance about them that isn't completely overblowing their personality. So they're both very funny at that because they're good at their job and just so oafish at the same time. It's fantastic. I laughed numerous times playing this.
Doc Havoc says they're intelligent, but in a weird derp-ass kind of way.
Yes, very much so. They're the most herp derpy fuckers I've ever seen. I love them. And you're sent after her by your boss, who I don't remember or care about the name of, and then she kills him. So now you have to go hunt her in his honor. Yippee, or something. It has a very cartoony look to it with lots of bright colors, and as I've already stated, the characters' voices are just hilarious because of that just bit of just herp derpiness and smugness mixed. Oh, it's fantastic. Finding stuff and solving the little puzzles that you find all over the fucking place aren't usually too hard. Sometimes finding some of the stuff is kind of a pain in the ass because you have to go back and forth to the same area, changing small things and then coming back, and it sometimes takes a little bit of trial and error, but usually it's pretty straightforward and simple. Other than that, there's not really much else to say because the story is really just you're there trying to get into her little lair and capturing her, and that's really it. You're just trying to solve puzzles to get in further into the rooms. So there's not much to say about it. What kind of
puzzles are there?
Oh god, there's so many. Most of them are just puzzles that are more based on like find these objects, place them where they need to go to open the door, or raise this water, close off holes, let the water go, pop something out, find it, use it to open a door, things like that.
They're just your standard adventure game puzzles.
Yeah, they're all over the place. But most of them they're all simple. Like a kid could probably beat this without any real issue. There might be a few that are a little logic puzzles that might screw them up, but I think kids would love this game, especially.
Nice. It sounds pretty good. Any negatives to it?
Not really, other than just occasionally some of the items are kind of a pain in the ass to find, but there was only a couple of them that were a pain in the ass. It's fantastic. The only bad thing about it is it isn't longer, honestly. I just want to play it more.
Awesome. So go ahead.
For $15, I think it's totally buy it. If you like comedy, this is right up your alley. If you like puzzle games, this is good. If you like escape the rooms, it's good. And if you don't like any of that, get it any fucking way. It's great.
Cole, are you jealous you didn't get to cover this one?
A little bit, yeah.
Not as jealous as I am about Control. God.
My bad.
Very much your bad, yes. Though granted, if it wasn't you, I'm sure someone else was in line before me too.
Yeah, there were a couple people who wanted Control. So
yeah.
Go figure, the big games people want.
I'm always dead last in all of these because I don't hear about these until like a week or two before they come out typically, and everyone else knows about them for months. I'm terrible at this.
I got a release date list I'll send you. And it shows you everything that's coming out on every platform. And you can choose to have it just like narrow down and show you what's closest.
Oh, thank God. Yes, please do. That sounds fantastic.
It's handy. That's how come I know to start hollering for Artifacts Monday games 3 weeks in advance.
No wonder I never get those anymore. Okay, that explains that.
It's okay. No one got the recent one.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. I'm sad.
I don't know either.
It's also kind of okay to me because I have almost every last one of the Artifacts Mundi games on Steam, so I'm missing they have over 80 fucking games on Steam. Mm-hmm. I have over 70 of them.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then again, that's like me and the fucking ACA Neo Geo games where I own all of them.
You are insane for that.
Yes, I am.
That is That and Rock Band DLC.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking he was going to mention.
No, I'm still missing 3 Rock Band songs that I can never get. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, I'm sad. But next game to talk about is called Witch Hunt, developed and published by Andrei Vincevich. Hopefully I said that right. Released last year on Steam for $9.99, but just recently got a few updates, so we're checking it out now. Witch Hunt is a challenging horror-themed hunting game that takes place in the 18th century. Main focus of the game is on exploration, non-linearity, and atmosphere. Dark Mika, tell us about Witch Hunt.
Well, it's a first-person hunting game, kind of obviously. It's obviously a hunting game from the name of it. I mean, duh.
Yeah.
You go to this town. You're some just unnamed schmuck. I don't remember a name ever being mentioned for him. People just say, "Hey, you." Like, oh, okay, I'm "Hey, you" now. That's fine. But you haunt monsters. I mean, big shocker. And you're there because something has been terrorizing this little village of like 5 houses or some shit. It's so fucking small. I'd be like, just let the monster kill them. Fuck it. It's not enough. It's not worth my time to save like 12 people. Fuck this shit. The dog I did save. It's worth saving. But so there's not a lot of monsters in this. There's, from what I understand, there's a werewolf, an ent and a witch, and a demon that I guess is the devil or something. I'm not really sure. It's a big goat demon monster thing. Those are the only big enemies that I know are in it. And I didn't get to fight to get one. There's also zombies throughout the entire forest that you hunt in, various different types, and they are all real easy to fucking kill. 1 or 2 hits and they're all dead. You get a pistol, a rifle, and a saber. And when I say pistol and rifle, this is ye olde, the oldest fuck times. These are like the ones where you have to like pour the fucking gunpowder in, toss the bullet in, put some paper in, mush all that shit in there, and then fire a bullet, and then take another like 40 fucking seconds to load your gun. That's the guns you got here.
No boy.
Yeah, they're miserable. But they're not. It's not bad once you get the upgrade that lets you do everything 30% faster. It's not terrible. It still isn't fucking quick, but it's not terrible. Okay, first I'm going to go over what's good about the game, and you'll understand why once I'm done with this.
Okay.
The first part is one of them is you have really interesting ability. You have the ability to sense whatever the hunted monster is that you're going for. Like, zombies aren't hunted monsters. They're just there. You kill them. Like the werewolf, the ant, the witch, the devil, demon thingy, those are the hunted monster. Whenever you're within 500 meters of them, your heart starts racing. And it goes faster and faster when you get closer to them, so you can pinpoint them a little. It's supposed to be a little easier, but just for people who don't know, every meter is 3.3 fucking feet. So 500 meters is more than a fucking football field. It is a big fucking area. And that's not just like the bubble where it's in the middle of. No, it goes that far all around him.
Oh, jeez.
So you have more than a football field to get to him, and that's if you're not walking straight past them.
Oh, God.
Yeah, wow. It's an interesting little ability. And another one is you have a power because you have like angel blood in you or something like that. I don't know what the fuck it's supposed to be. But you can see through their eyes as well if you spend some of your magic to do it. Half your magic. And you get magic for every bad guy you kill, you get a little bit back. So it's not too hard because zombies die really fucking easy. So you can see through them their eyes to help you track them a little better, which is really cool concept. I love that. It was awesome. And the last thing is load times are surprisingly fast when you consider it only has 2 maps, which is the village, which is small, and then the fucking forest, and as I stated, more than a fucking football field in all direction from the monster. That isn't anything in comparison to the map as a whole. Like, that's a lot when you compare it to how far you are from the monster, but that ain't shit compared to how big the map is. And there's no loading whatsoever. Once you get into that map, it's just there, and it loads real fast.
Oh, that's cool.
I was thoroughly surprised and kind of impressed about that. And that's the end of the good. That's all she wrote.
Oh boy.
Yeah. The bad. Oh, the bad. Oh, the bad.
Oh.
Remember how I stated both those abilities were really cool?
Yeah.
They're both absolutely fucking worthless. Like, again, 500 fucking meters is more than a football field in every direction away from the fucking thing. And it's in this giant map. It can take you 10 minutes to even get your heart started beating, and then it might take you another, hour to find the goddamn thing because your heart has 3 different quicknesses and beats, and even when it's beating its fastest, the fucking thing can still be fucking damn near anywhere. So it's not useful at all. Really interesting, absolutely worthless in the game. And the other ability where you can see through their eyes, great for tracking if you could track them in any conceivable way. They don't leave tracks. Nothing does. There's no footprints. There's no blood. There's no nothing. And the entire map looks the exact fucking same. It's like, oh, it's by these dead trees with a big rock next to it. In a fucking forest. With big rocks fucking everywhere. It's like, oh, it's near this mountain. It's near this hill. Oh, you mean one of the 50 of them in the fucking map? Not useful. Ugh. Finding the fucking things takes so fucking long. And after you hurt them once, they run the fuck away.
Oh.
They run away. At least the werewolf does. The int, it follows you, but it fucks up your shit. So you have to run away. But then it moves. So it's not where it was previously. And then you have to fucking find the goddamn thing again.
Oh, man. So it sounds like a little bit of frustration on this one.
Oh, yeah. And that's not even talking about the enemies. I stopped at the witch. Because she's a fucking cunt.
Lord.
One, she's invincible until you beat the int. And she hunts you the entire time you're trying to destroy the int, which has an insane life bar and can poison you and does massive damage to you, so you have to run away from it. And her, and then you have to find the fucking int again when you get her far enough the fuck away from it that you can turn around and run back to him because you can't hurt her, and she's invisible the entire fucking time. And when you finally kill the int, she just walks off at random. Because she's no longer hunting you, you're hunting her. So she just walks off at random.
Oh, God.
Just at fucking random. So you have to go find her. And she is still fairly see-through-ish. She's not completely invisible like she was previously. She's like this black haze. Fucking, she can teleport all around you. She has 2 insta-kill moves, which I know are insta-kill because I actually decided after spending 7 hours trying to kill her, I just was like, fuck it, I'm just going to cheat and put my health at max and freeze it there for God mode, and she still killed me with 2 different fucking moves instantly.
Oh, my Lord.
On top of that, she can fire fireballs at you. She can cause plants to come up that spit poison at you, which damage you over time unless you jump in the water, which is freezing cold, and therefore it damages you. What else is there? And all while dealing with all this bullshit, you also have to deal with the zombies that occasionally come running in to attack you as well while dealing with this bitch. And all of her insta-kill moves are still fucking invisible.
Damn.
Yeah, I spent over 10 hours dealing with the int and her, and I never beat her, and I said, fuck it, I'm done, and I quit. I've never been so goddamn angry at a game. Even right now, y'all can probably hear it. I am so angry right now. So pissed.
I gotta know, $10 on it, what's your verdict?
I don't care if this game was free, fuck it, no. Just no. Like, the concepts are really interesting. The follow-through, I can't even call it bad. It's like putting 5,000 fucking Halo rings around the Earth and then sneezing and setting them all off. Just like, no, it doesn't fucking work. Like, I love the concept, though. Concept's great.
How would you fix it? How would you improve the game?
I would make the map, the forest map, a lot smaller, because that thing's just so huge. And I would change how it looks. I'd update the graphics a lot so that you could see like footprints in the dirt and stuff, so you could actually track the creatures like you do in other hunting games. And then being able to see through their eyes would be a little more useful if everything wasn't just a dead tree and a giant fucking rock.
Yeah.
And then I'd make the enemies a lot easier to kill, or make them want to fight you, or make them not run significantly faster than you do, so you could actually track them, hunt them down. Like the werewolf, every time you hurt him, he runs away. He runs to one of a number of spots, so he's easy to find. He's the only one who does that, though, so it gets annoyingly difficult. So I would just do things just to make those really cool abilities that they added into the game a lot more useful. Like, I'd make it within like 50 meters or something instead of 500 meters to have that ability work, and make the map significantly smaller so it doesn't take you like an hour and a half, 2 hours to find an enemy. Yeah. And I was using a map, so I knew where they spawned in the first fucking place, and it still took me that long. Jeez.
Oh, well, they can't all be winners.
Yeah, like, I wanted to like the game, because the concept is really cool. I mean, it's a horror game where you hunt the monsters. Fuck yeah! And those abilities are so damn cool, but with this follow-through, they're so really worthless, and it's just so depressing.
Oh, well. Dark Mika, thank you as always for coming on, chatting about this stuff. We're going to let you get going because we got one final game to talk about, so you have yourself a wonderful day.
Yep. I'll see y'all later.
Bye.
See ya, bye. And then the final game to talk about tonight is a preview of the game Nordlicht, developed by Ilias, published by Sadok LLC. It's going to be releasing September 27th on Steam for $4.99. Nordlicht is an adventure game where you accompany an unusual family on its fascinating journey to the cold north. During the journey, they encounter mysterious star signs of the polar night and have to overcome nature's dangers to confront their fears. Cole, tell us about Nordlicht.
So this is I've already fucked up. I just started the sentence and I already fucked up.
Proud of you.
It's a charming little point and click where players take control of a little girl named Aurora, and her father Rupert and her best friend, a plump little guinea pig named Peter, are going on an epic journey to see Aurora's mother. It's absolutely beautifully illustrated. It's got this digital sketch paint look to it. It's incredibly well done. The characters almost look like they're paper dolls set inside this world, and you just point and click to move them around. It's a classic point and click adventure game, hidden object style. For most of it, although there are sections where there's some action to break things up. I don't want to give any spoilers as far as the action sequences go, but but you'll have these little action sequences to break up the hidden object monotony, because you can get a little burnout. Just click this, combine that, go. But the story is incredibly heartwarming, and I really attached to this game. I can't wait to see it in full-fledged, all of its glory and finished, and I hope it comes to Xbox too. That is for damn sure. But it's incredibly adorable. It plays really well. Some of the puzzle mechanics to it, you really have to go at it with like a child's mind, because there were times where I just couldn't figure out what the solution was, but I was looking for a more straightforward adult solution. And you really got to look at it more of like what a child would do instead of what you would do. But I actually thought it was a nice little change of pace to change up the way you had to think about approaching the game. Even sometimes like a puzzle would seem incredibly mundane, but then you're like, okay, well, if I need to empty out the jelly jar, you just go to the sink or the trash and empty it out, right? But she's like, you can't do that. That's a waste. So you have to find her a spoon so that she can just eat all the jelly so that she doesn't waste it. It's like, as an adult, I would have been like, I never in a million years would have thought just eat the whole jar of jelly at once.
Yeah, why not?
and it kind of led to just some like random clicking to figure things out. But the game is really forgiving with that, and it has a really good hint system. You can click a magnifying glass at the top, and it will actually just show up and show you everything that you can interact with and how you can interact with it. So it makes it a little easier for you, and there's no punishment for doing that. It's just, if you're stuck, well, did you look in the bathtub for your toothbrush? Dummy.
No, why would I look in the bathtub?
Because that's the shit kids do.
True.
And you would think as a mom of 3, I'd be like, yeah, that's totally a logical place for that to be. There's even a little bit of humor as far as that goes, because there's one point where she has to find a fishing rod and bait, and the fishing rod is broken, so she just takes the bobber and the hook off of it, right? Mm-hmm. And she will keep making comments. If you try to combine it with stuff that it doesn't belong with, she'll keep making comments about how she's not allowed to play with anything sharp. But then the other thing that you have to look for is a lighter, and it's in her bedroom.
Why does she have a lighter in her bedroom?
That's what I want to know.
How old is the kid?
It kind of gives the appearance that she's maybe around 7 or 8.
Okay, so she's not getting high.
No. But I think
kid
that's
was like 16 or 17. I'd be like, I know what that kid's doing.
She's a child. So it's
starting young, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of the humor of it. I was thinking more of like, kids will burn the place down if you don't watch them. But it's funny because she's like, I'm not allowed to break this, or I'm not allowed to play with that sharp object. But never mind, here's my lighter. Why?
Lord.
I just found it really funny. But it just goes to show the kind of things that will sneak past parents, especially kind of given that her dad is not exactly the most put together person. There's some sad elements to it. There's one moment where she's like, I'm not even going to bother looking in the fridge. Dad forgets the groceries anyway.
Oh,
and
God.
you're just like, no.
That is depressing.
It is, because you have to pack food for their trip, and you're just like, shit. Despite everything being cartoony, not everything is good, and there are some sad elements, and there's the potential. I have my theories about where the story is going, and I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but there's the potential for there to be some heartstrings tugged with this adventure.
Damn. So later on later on next month, I guess technically, what day is it going to be when this comes out? I don't fucking know.
Not sure.
The 31st when it comes out. So yeah, next month. Mm-hmm. Later on next month. Is this a game worth keeping an eye on?
Absolutely. I'm going to be keeping an eye on it for sure. I'm going to keep checking and see if it's updated yet. I want to play it more. I need more because it's paced really well, and I want to know if I'm right about the story, because if I am, I'm going to fucking cry.
Oh, no.
You'll have me back here next month, and I'll just be like, ah!
I can only imagine that's what our listeners are doing after getting this far in the episode, if they made it this far.
Kudos on them.
Yeah,
Like, sad bastards.
I think we're over 3.5 hours.
Should I say pie again to make everybody feel better? Y'all want some ass?
You want some tea? You want some sweet tea? Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? Mm-hmm.
Y'all come back now, here.
Oh, man. So, yeah, I guess we're going to finish this episode up. It's been a long one. Thank you, everyone, for keeping us company and hanging out through this episode. Thanks again to Pete for coming on and chatting with us for an hour. Thanks to Norg for coming on and doing his review. Thanks to Dark Mika for coming on doing her reviews. Thanks to you for being here for the whole thing, even though we kind of split it up over 2 days, supposedly.
Yeah, that never happened.
Can you tell where the break is?
one fell swoop.
People will probably think that the break was right after the interview, because the sound quality is going to be different, because the noise removal on the interview part is a lot different than the noise removal on the rest of it, because of how much background noise there was with the webcam with Pete.
Yeah.
So it's going to sound a little different, but
Whoops.
Whatever.
It'll be fine.
We're talking enough. We got to end this show. Cole, do you have any final words to end it?
Well, we were supposed to make Mika do that.